Hello guys, welcome to Uzumaki Legends. In this video we will see, what if Naruto became the Emperor of Justice and built a godlike overpowered harem with Ino, Yugito, Mei, Hana, Anko, Kurenai, Fu and more. Part 1. If you enjoy these kinds of fanfics, please hit the like button and subscribe the channel for more fanfics like this. And now without any further delay, let's start the fanfic. 3 years after the attack. Naru-chan, wake up now, I have my special breakfast meal ready for us. Kushina yelled to her 3-year-old Naruto. As Naruto walks down the stairs groggily, his sun-kissed blonde hair with deep crimson-red streaks can be seen in a more unruly mop than when he tries to comb it. I'm up, Ka-chan, just give me a second, I'm really sleepy still. Naruto yawned out as his eyes were shut tight from the light. When he entered the kitchen he smelled the special breakfast. Homemade ramen with eggs and vegetables as the main course of the delicious meal was special in and of itself. A bowl of cut and whole fruits, mainly apples, strawberries, orange slices, grapes, and blueberries, made up the side dish with some cinnamon toast and fresh orange juice and sweet tea. Naruto was astonished from the sheer amount. His sea blue eyes with violet pupils and bluish-violet area surrounding it where the white of the eye usually is looked like mini dinner plates. Ka-chan, how are we gonna eat all this food? Even with my bottomless stomach I couldn't eat this much. We aren't, Blondie. Kushina teased her little son. Did you forget that we are going to a friend of mine's compound and you are going to meet your Kyo godmother and Kyofu godfather, along with welcoming Tsunade Ba-chan and Jiraiya Jiji back from their little travels around Hinokuni? Kushina asked her knuckle-headed Naruto. Oh yeah, I can't believe I forgot that was gonna be today. Well, what are you waiting for? Ka-chan, seal up that food and let's go. Naruto enthusiastically exclaimed while Kushina's sweat dropped at his sudden change to being fully awake. Okay Naru-chan, Kushina said, stressing the chan part too much for Naruto's liking. Stop calling me chan, Ka-chan. I'm gonna be a kick ninja and being called chan won't help me. Naruto complained, until he realized he swore in front of his mom, who already had all the food packed. Naruto N. Uzumaki, you better watch your mouth and stop that bad habit. Kushina scolded as she chased Naruto with the wooden training sword Jiraiya and Tsunade sent 2 months ago from Tetsu no Kuni for Naruto to start learning kenjutsu. I'm sorry Ka-chan. Naruto yelled, whimpered after a good hit to the head from Kushina. -10 minutes later on the way to the compound. Where are we going to again, Ka-chan? Naruto asked as his 3-year-old curiosity showed itself for the first time for the day. We are going to the Inuzuka compound. Kushina told him as she was in her henge since most of the village believes that she is dead and she doesn't want them knowing that she is alive before she disappears to Uzu no Kuni. Yay, puppies! Naruto exclaimed in his 3-year-old giddiness while Kushina giggled at her son's silliness. She saw the glares and heard the whispers about her son being the demon he holds and about her being the unlucky caretaker or brainwashed slave. It took all her control to suppress her ki since Naruto is still oblivious to the idiotic villagers. Kushina still remembered one of the worst whispered conversations she ever heard, so far. Flashback. 2 years after the Kyuubi attack, Kushina and a barely able to walk Naruto were at the park close to the Sarutobi compound. As Kushina, in a henge, and Naruto played with Itachi and Ibiki also playing, they were only 13 and 15 respectively. The 3 shinobi heard a small yet disgusting conversation going on. Look at the demon filth playing with those fools. Be quiet, that is Itachi Uchiha and Ibiki Morino. They are both prodigies in their respective fields. I bet that Hokage-sama and they are making it so that the demon scum and that brainwashed bitch trust them and then they will kill that bitch and torture the demon before killing it also. The 2 idiots went on and on while all the while Yamato and Mahozai showed up and paralyzed both. Kakashi then appeared with his Inu Anbu mask on and used a special torture jutsu to electrocute and burn the civilians to the brink of death but stopped right before they died. I will get them set up for you Ibiki, but I'm going to help because no one hurts my Ototo and gets away with it. Kakashi signed to Ibiki in their personal Anbu code. Ibiki nodded, showing he understood. The Hokage, Kushina, Kakashi, and the 4 special Anbu were in the torture chamber with the criminals. Naruto meanwhile was with Asuma Sarutobi, Hiruzen's 14-year-old son, who thought of Naruto as a little brother and promised he would keep him safe before the village. For the rest of the night the two fools were tortured by Ibiki and Kakashi with some torture by the guards. Kushina then revealed herself and the two people gasped in shock and soiled themselves. "So you think my Sochi-kun is a demon, huh? I will make you regret saying that." Kushina then proceeded to beat the crap out of them, heal them to where they only have scares, and then repeated the process. After the 12th time she healed them, she then removed their manhoods and made them swallow it. The next morning they were executed by Chidori and Rasengan courtesy of Kakashi and Jiraiya. Flashback end. Kushina and Naruto showed up at the Inuzuka compound, when, all of a sudden, Naruto was tackled by a big wolf-like dog. "No, Kuromaru. Leave little Naru-kun alone right now," said a sweet-sounding voice that also had a hint of wildness to it. "Fine, Sum-chan," the now-identified Kuromaru said, with slight disappointment as he couldn't play with the little pup that he finally gets to meet. "Hey Kushi-chan, hey little Naru-kun," Sum says as she sees her best friend and godson. "Hey Sum-chan, say hi Naru-chan," Kushina says. Hi Sum-san. I'm Naruto Uzumaki and I'm gonna be the greatest and most kick ninja ever," Naruto said, and thought as he introduced himself. "Well, you better be so you can protect me, after all I am your Kyo," Sum exclaimed in a childish fashion while she pulled Naruto into a big hug. "Really? Yay, I got an awesome kunoichi Kyo," Naruto exclaimed in a childish fashion. Naruto then gave Sum a big hug and ran inside to meet everyone that was in there. When Naruto got inside, the first thing he saw was a young girl, about 2 years older than him, with long dark hair and chocolate brown eyes. Naruto blushed as he saw her. "Wow, she is really pretty. I hope she will be my friend," Naruto thought, not realizing that he has slowly started to develop a crush. Sum sees him blushing and looking at her daughter Hana. "Well, Naru-kun, do you like little Hana-chan? She is my daughter, so maybe I will introduce you," Sum teased while Kushina set up the breakfast. "Www, what are you talking about, Sum-kyo?" Naruto tried to stay calm while Sum teased him. "Oi, Hana-chan, come here, I want you to meet Naruto-kun," Sum called to her daughter as Naruto blushed even more, slightly embarrassed and slightly nervous. "Hi Naruto-kun, I'm Hana Inuzuka," Hana said with a little blush as she completely took in Naruto with his black shorts with orange strips on the side and white t-shirt with the rusty orange Uzumaki swirl, blue Senju trident, and purplish-yellow Namikaze wave crests all combined into one on the back. Hi, I am NN Naruto Uzumaki. It's nice to meet you, Hana-chan," Naruto said as both of their blushes deepened. "Why don't you two go play somewhere while we wait for the last couple of guests to show up?" "Okay," both Hana and Naruto said as they ran off, unconsciously grabbing each other's hands. -5 minutes later, Hiyashi Hyuga showed up with his brother, Hizashi, and nephew, Neji. Neji went to where Naruto and Hana were playing while Hiyashi and Hizashi talked with the other adults. They were still waiting for Jiraiya and Tsunade. Shizune was already there since she decided to stay with Kushina and Naruto on his first birthday. Hiyashi then decides to walk over to the kids to introduce himself to Naruto, his godson. With Naruto and Hana were busy playing ninja and just goofing off when they see a kid in a white shirt and tan pants with pure white eyes approach them. "Hi, I am Naruto and this is Hana-chan, what's your name?" Naruto introduced and asked the newcomer. "Hello, I am Neji Hyuga of the Hyuga clan." Neji formally introduced himself. "Would you like to play ninja with us, Neji-kun?" Hana asked in a polite tone, standing close to Naruto as he nodded in agreement. "Sure, thanks." Neji beamed with happiness as they started playing, until Hiyashi stopped them. "Hey Neji-kun, care to introduce me to your friends?" Hiyashi asked his nephew. "Sure thing Hiyashi Oji-sama." This is Naruto Uzumaki and Hana Inuzuka. Neji stated as his new friends smiled and said their hellos. Naruto-kun. That's you. You have grown since I first saw you. Hiyashi said in shock. Then he saw Naruto's confused face. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself, haha. I am Hiyashi Hyuga, head of the Hyuga clan, and I am also your Kyofu. Hiyashi told Naruto and then embraced him in a big hug. When Naruto was released, he then stood back next to Hana and grabbed her hand, which made her blush a lot. Just then Jiraiya and Tsunade appeared and also gave Naruto a big hug, as he was still holding Hana's hand. Hey Naru-kun. Both Sannin said to their grandson. Hey Tsunade Ba-chan. Jiraiya Jiji, how was your trip? Naruto asked his grandparents. It was excellent, especially the end since we can see you, Tsunade said as she hugged Naruto half to death. Then she realized that Naruto was holding Hana's hand. Ah, Naru-kun, is this nice little girl your girlfriend? Tsunade asked as Jiraiya then noticed and asked him the same question. What are you talking about Ba-chan, Jiji-kun? Naruto asked while stuttering the whole time. Both Naruto and Hana sported huge blushes as the adults and Neji laughed. At the table, Naruto sat at the breakfast table with Hana on his right and Neji on his left and the rest of the seats filled by the adults. Everyone talked and chatted until the meal was over, and then Neji and Hana got water balloons ready for when Naruto goes outside. Naruto then walked outside after Tsun told him that they wanted to see him outside. Outside behind the compound, Naruto exited the door and as soon as it shut he was pelted with water balloons on both sides by Hana and Neji. Naruto managed to catch a few and threw them back at Neji and Hana, soaking them. They all laughed until they were sore and laid on the grass together. Haha, that was a good prank, you two got me, Naruto said after a while, still chuckling. You should have seen your face, Naru-kun. Hana giggled with Neji chuckling and nodding his head while trying to say, yeah, without laughing too much. Then Jiraiya walked out the door with Hiruzen Sarutobi. Both saw the soaked kids and couldn't help but chuckle at them. Okay Naruto-kun. It looks like you are going to be getting your presents outside since you are all wet. All three of the kids laughed again as they saw their parents come out with shocked expressions, even though the adults were laughing themselves. Okay Naru-chan, from me and Hiruzen Jiji is a special journal that was your dad's. It also has some of his in-mind jutsus and his special notes. He wrote in it since he began the academy and has seals with many things he thought were important. On the very back inside cover are 3 blood seals, one with more journals, one with my special jutsus and other things I stored in there, and the last contains some basic lessons from your father. Kushina told the young boy. The Hokage then decided to tell Naruto a bit more information. Naruto-kun, this will also tell you the name of your father. You can only tell the people here because it's a secret, and the only people outside here that can know, or already know, are Kakashi, Itachi, Ibiki, Yamato, and Mahozai. Sure thing Hiruzen Jiji. Naruto opens the journal and falls on his butt in shock at who his father is. Minato and Namikaze, the Yellow Flash and Yondaime Hokage, my hero is my dad. Naruto exclaims while extremely happy. Naruto knows about his burden already but decide that it doesn't matter since he is like a great ninja already for keeping the village safe. Naruto fell on his butt in shock while shaking from joy. His eyes watered with tears of joy as he looked at the Hokage monument and swore to himself and his dad that he would become even greater than Minato was. As this was going on, Hana walked up and gave Naruto a hug and Neji gave him a fist pump in his trying to be cool Hyuga style. Naruto, come here, I got your present set up and so does Tsunade-chan. Jiraiya said as he pulled off 2 huge scrolls from his back, 2 wrapped up books, and Tsunade pulled out a medium-sized scroll which, unknown to Naruto, the bigger of the 2 was the Gamma summoning scroll and the other was a giant set of Fuinjutsu paper scroll. The books were a full set of Fuinjutsu for novice, intermediate level users and Jiraiya's very first book, the Gutsy Ninja. Meanwhile, Tsunade's scroll contained books on chakra control and medical chakra along with medical herbs and a little greenhouse to keep plants when on travels. Whoa, Gigi. Ba-chan, is that all from me? Naruto asked in astonishment while Jiraiya and Tsunade laughed while nodding yes. Naruto ran over almost as fast as the Hiraishin was. Naruto knew that he had to use his little bit of chakra he could access to open it and was shocked by everything. Kushina was also amazed by what Naruto could possibly do when he was older. Neji and the adult Hyugas were amazed by the techniques, and Neji decided that Naruto would be his sparring partner while in the academy. Hana, on the other hand, was already on the verge of asking Naruto if she could also use the medical jutsu books, once he finishes them, of course. Oh my Kami, this is so much. I am definitely going to be the greatest ninja ever. Hey Gigi, does the Gamma contract mean that I can summon Kango and Book at any time? Haha, yes Naru-kun, it does, and you can also summon other toads too, like Gamakichi and Gamatatsu, or even Gamamusha. Yay! Naruto cheered at the fact that he could now summon his first two friends, the midnight blue and dark pink, light purple healer to be Kango, and the crimson red and blue streaked samurai to be Book. Arrow Jiraiya, will the toads allow Naruto to have more contracts, like the Uzumaki contracts, since he is the last heir and everything? Kushina asked, hoping that her son could bring back the powerful allies that only helped the Uzumaki. Yes, they will. I already asked and they were delighted to hear that their old friends will be able to join them in battle once again. And not be against them like the salamander used to be. Jiraiya said, making Naruto even happier. Naruto, being an Uzumaki, Namikaze, and slight Senju, was born with excellent calligraphy and wrote his name in blood on the contract and left his handprint, right next to his dad's signature and mark. Naruto then hugged Tsunade while saying that he would read all the medical books before she got back from her next journey. Shizune and her boyfriend Iruka got Naruto dull practice kunai and shuriken so he could be a good weapons user and not a mediocre class clown with barely passing scores. Tsume actually gave Naruto special Inuzuka marks that show that the Inuzuka clan supports him, while also adding the marks that make him Hana's future mate since she could smell their chemistry, but they didn't interfere with his whisker marks. Hana and Neji both gave Naruto taijutsu-style scrolls that their clans don't use anymore. Hiyashi gave Naruto a scroll on many more types of chakra control, and Hizashi gave Naruto a case containing 3 scrolls filled with paper. One scroll was elemental paper, paper used to detect chakra of the normal 5 elements. The second scroll was for Kekkei Genkei elements, and the last was for chakra suppression of all basic types. The first 2 would also show the potency of the chakra based on how heavily they react. Naruto-kun, why don't you try a slip from the first 2 papers out? Asked all the guests. Naruto pushed some chakra into the paper and everyone was amazed by what happened. The paper was split into 5 parts by black and gold lines, indicating he had a strong affinity for whatever showed up. Then first section shredded into trillions of little pieces so fast that it looked like it was instantly vaporized. The second was soaking wet and turned into real water, falling to the ground. The third crinkled up so much that it seemed impossible to undo it. The fourth turned to dirt and the fifth got caught in flames. Naruto had all of the elements and couldn't believe his luck: water from the Uzumaki, wind and lightning from the Namikaze, earth from the Senju, and fire from the Kitsune inside him. The second paper was even more of a surprise than expected. The paper turned into a crystal vial which filled with lava and had frost forming on top around a plant that was growing from it. Never in anyone's life had they seen something like this. Not even Hiruzen could speak clearly, and he was ancient. My Kami. Is that even possible? Maybe he will be able to rule justly in. Hiruzen started and then mumbled on, being ignored for his incoherent rambling. Everyone else, meanwhile, was still trying to pick their jaws off the floor. Meanwhile Kakashi, Itachi, Ibiki, Yamato, and Mahozai walked in and were wondering what was going on. Why is everyone so shocked and staring at Naruto like he is Kami incarnate? Asked the new arrivals. Shizune just showed them the pictures of everything that happened along with telling them of Naruto's father. They were all shocked by the chakra while only Itachi, Ibiki, and Yamato were surprised by Naruto's father. They then proceeded to give Naruto his presents. Kakashi gave him a list of jutsus, like Kage Bunshin and other kinjutsu that he knew Naruto could handle. Itachi gave Naruto an anti-Sharingan seal to prevent anyone from copying his techniques. Yamato gave Naruto plant seeds and the promise of a scroll for Mokuden when his chakra control is extremely good. Mahozai gave Naruto a scroll of genjutsu and Ibiki gave Naruto a beginner's guide to interrogation and a cool jacket like his, but with crimson flames and a rusty orange Uzumaki symbol and the other symbols on the inside. 1 year later, Naruto 4, Neji 4, and Hana 6 have all accessed their chakra and practice chakra control every day. Naruto and Hana have slowly been mastering medical jutsu and they have all gone up in their other skills. Naruto and Hana also met Anko, who liked to pull pranks just like Naruto. Anko was nervous when they first met since she thought they wouldn't like her because of what Orochimaru did to her. Anko soon realized Naruto and Hana genuinely wanted to be her friend. Anko soon introduced them to Kurenai. Kurenai was able to help them with genjutsu and became a genjutsu master in the making a lot faster thanks to the scrolls Naruto had. Hana then started the Ninja Academy with Anko and Kurenai as her tutors in the academy. Naruto and Neji trained even harder in taijutsu and some basic ninjutsu just to keep up with Hana. Naruto and Neji are now 5 years old. They will be 6 in 1 month for Neji and 2 for Naruto and are considered many things. Neji is hailed as a Hyuga prodigy while Naruto is called a cheating demon. Both can access their normal chakra already, however, Naruto cannot access anything besides regular chakra. Naruto didn't care though, as it was partially explained in his father's journal. Flashback. A just-turned 5-year-old Naruto was sitting in the Sarutobi clan library reading Minato's third journal. This journal contained the most information on Minato learning to access his chakra and the beginning steps of accessing his crystal style AN. Can someone PM me the Japanese translation for all the known styles? Thanks. Closing parenthesis. Naruto was amazed to learn that his dad never accessed his wind chakra until he started his 6th month of training with Jiraiya and could only really use it once he got Jonin level reserves and control. But even then it took a while to learn how to utilize it and keep it flowing. The lightning chakra came even later. In fact, it was the day that he saved Kushina from Kumo that he accessed it. This was about 1.5 years of training with Jiraiya. And it all happened because he forced his body to go faster, which unlocked it and made his body faster with the electricity. Crystal chakra was even harder than those two combined. It happened in one of the earlier battles of the Third Shinobi War, in which he lost his student Obito, Kakashi lost his eye and gained Obito's Sharingan, and Rin started dating Kakashi. They were all worn out and Minato pushed himself to his limit, trying to gather more strength and grieving for his student's death. Minato couldn't even find Obito's body and nearly broke down, but was barely able to keep calm and set up camp for his last 2 students. Naruto was so amazed at those facts that he wasn't even concerned with using elemental chakra until he had Jiraiya and Kakashi train him with tutoring from Iruka. Naruto kept reading about his father's life and was able to see how he became so great. After finishing the journal, Naruto resealed it and summoned Fukasaku to ask him a question about the 3 summoning scrolls, as his mother was out on a small mission. Book and Kango instantly appeared to learn with Naruto. Book now uses 2 nodashi and Kango carries a pouch of the finest medical ointments and medicines that come close to rivaling beginner slugs. All 3, Naruto, Book, and Koga, wore Uzumaki swirl-marked, on the back, trench coats with the Senju trident on the sleeves and the Namikaze waves on the hood crashing together at the top. Naruto's custom-made trench coat has a hood as it helps him with hiding and looking kick. Flashback end. Naruto and Neji are currently practicing in chakra control with kunai and shuriken floating. Neji, can you tell me if I am using too much or too little chakra? My kunai and shuriken keep falling or getting launched away. Naruto asked his best guy friend. Sure thing, Naruto. Yeah, you are using too much on the shuriken and too little on the kunai. Tweak them both by about 2% and you should be good. Neji told his true friend. Neji and his dad Hisashi are main house Hyuga, as Hisashi didn't kill the Kumo ninja, he simply paralyzed him, permanently. Neji was so happy that he decided to practice even harder to become the best Byakugan wielder. Neji would always challenge Naruto to a taijutsu round twice a day whenever they practiced, once before as a warm-up and once after as a cool-down and to push their bodies to the extreme. Naruto and Neji have also met Kiba, Hana's little brother, and they introduced Hinata to them. Kiba and Hinata seemed to become best friends almost instantly as the three bigger kids decided to have a one-on-one taijutsu match with only taijutsu allowed. Naruto, having his limitless stamina, easily lasted through the fight, efficiently dodging and countering while striking when a good chance is available. Hana, with her heightened senses and instincts, was able to judge when the other two would make a move and when to dodge counter. Neji, however, had the upper hand with his formally trained style of the gentle fist. Throughout the course of the 30-minute fight they all got beat on pretty badly. Hana-chan, did you have to hit me square in the jaw that hard? Naruto said slowly. Sorry Naru-kun, here let me heal you. Hana apologized. When you get D done with that, can you guys help me? Neji asked in pain as he got ganged up on towards the end of the fight. Sure thing Neji, both Hana and Naruto said as they walked over. -5 minutes later and back in the Inuzuka compound. Naruto was looking around trying to find the right spices to make the delicious beef ramen that Kyuki and Ayame taught him how to make. It was also packed with protein and essential vitamins and minerals. Where is the... There it is. Naruto said as he found the last ingredient and started to cook. Naruto, why did you learn to cook? Neji asked as he never found out why. Because he wants to impress me, Ka-san, and Kushina-sama. Hana teased as Naruto tried to stutter out a reasonable retort. That night, Naruto stayed over at the Inuzuka compound and slept in the living room close to the fireplace with his arms around Hana and her arms around him, like they fell asleep hugging. Soon walked into the living room to check on Naruto and sees them and gains a big smile. He, perfect blackmail for the two of them. But they also look very cute together. Maybe I should ask Kushi-chan to help arrange a marriage proposal for the two of them. Soon thought as she took multiple pictures of them, some for each of the adults that personally knew Naruto. A couple minutes later both Hana and Naruto wake up and realize the way they were sleeping. Neither of them tried to make an effort to move but just stay there blushing. Naruto's blush deepened even more as Hana decided to snuggle closer to him and fall back asleep. Naruto eventually fell asleep, but with a grin and a big blush that lasted till morning. Time skipped 3 months. Naruto and Neji have been in the Ninja Academy for a month now and they are bored out of their minds. Both of them already know this thanks to Anko, Kurenai, Yugao, and Hana. Sume, Hisashi, and Kushina also helped by making sure they studied, but the now Chunin Anko, Kurenai, and Yugao and the almost genin Hana provided better information to help them. Naruto and Neji both realized that their current sensei is, in simple terms, a bastard. They found this out when they put the same answers for every question and Naruto got a failing grade while Neji got a perfect grade. Time skip summary for the year. Naruto and Neji made friends with Rock Lee and Tenten only. The others treated Naruto poorly because of their parents and some ignored Neji due to him being a clan heir and the only one in their class. They practiced throwing weapons and the basic academy jutsu non-stop. Naruto got good at both and so did Neji, but Naruto was slightly a bit better at target practice and Neji was better at the academy jutsu. Tenten however was better than them both combined and helped them get even better. Meanwhile, Rock Lee was the strongest taijutsu user they ever faced. Whenever the class had a competition in kunai and shuriken throwing, Naruto's would always suddenly go off course and his movements in taijutsu would become slow and groggy. Neji soon discovered that their sensei was using basic wind chakra manipulation to push the kunai and shuriken off course and placed seals on Naruto to mess up his movements. Naruto's grades were so badly messed with that he was forced to repeat this year and the Hokage could not intervene without looking prejudice, and he had also had his free time taken up by 2 plans, the Uzu plan and a plan for the council and how the village is run. Kushina has left to go to Uzu no Kuni and repair it with Tsunade while Jiraiya goes there occasionally to help. She left 2 months before the current academy year would be up and decided to leave Naruto a gift and special persuasive techniques for both Kakashi and Hiruzen. Kushina's gift was one of the Uzumaki summoning scrolls being unsealed for Naruto to use while the others still required Naruto to improve his Fuinjutsu efficiency. The contract itself amazed Naruto to no end because it was the Walrus contract, a contract previously thought lost since the First Shinobi War. The Walrus summoning contract was the iconic summons of the Uzumaki Marine-based Shinobi Corps. The persuasive techniques were quite useful as well. For Kakashi it was to burn his Ika Ika paradise and for Hiruzen it was to hold back the secret of beating paperwork. Naruto gathered Kakashi and Hiruzen in the Hokage's office and asked them to teach him how to do the Kage Bunshin. They tried to say he was too young to learn it, until he used his ultimate persuasive techniques. They both quickly caved as they knew he would have a toad quickly tell Kushina who would pulverize them. Naruto learned the Kage Bunshin in just over 6 hours. After Naruto learned it and found out he could make 10 max, he sent 5 to do medical ninjutsu chakra training, 3 to read his father's journals again and 2 to read books on forging weapons. Naruto then revealed that the secret to beating paperwork is Kage Bunshin itself. Naruto then signed the Walrus contract and summoned a walrus to gain approval, which he quickly earned. Naruto of course failed, so he is kept back and is now in Hinata's and Kiba's class. Time skip to the new year. Naruto has arrived early to meet his new teachers, Iruka Yumino and Mizuki. "Oi, Iruka ni, you are my teacher?" Naruto asked as he saw one of his precious people that is also in a relationship with his adopted sister Shizune. "Yeah Naruto-kun, I am." Iruka smiled while scratching his head. "Fucking demon and demon lover, I hope I get to kill them eventually." Mizuki thought sinisterly. "Naruto, can I talk with you for a minute in private?" Iruka asked the hyperactive blonde. "Sure Iruka ni, can you shunshin us to the Hokage monument?" Naruto asked, knowing that no one will disturb them there. Iruka, already knowing he means the top of the Yondaimi's head, smiled and nodded, teleporting them to said location. "So, what is it you needed to talk about, Ni-san?" Naruto asked. Well, could I have YY or P per permission to asked Shizune-chan too. "Well marry me?" Iruka asked nervously. Even though he already got permission from Tsunade, he still wanted the whole family's approval, and Naruto is the last one he needed to ask. "Hell, I mean yes Iruka Yumino ni, you can marry Shizune ne." Naruto started to exclaim in joy but reined himself in and said it in a very calm manner until he ended and hugged Iruka in extreme joy. "Really? Thank you Naruto, thank you," Iruka exclaimed as he hugged Naruto back. Iruka teleported them both back once they calmed down and got ready for class. Back in the classroom, only Hinata and Kiba are in the room as they knew Naruto would be early and they wanted to sit with their true friend and big brother figure. Iruka and Naruto reappeared in the classroom with Naruto jumping over to Hinata and Kiba in the 3rd row back, sitting in between them. As Mizuki was gathering the students in front of the school and Naruto, Hinata, and Kiba were talking, Iruka felt something in his pocket. What's this?" "A note from Naruto. Iruka ni, I need you to be the only sensei that touches my papers so they won't get messed with, and can you also try to supervise anything whenever Mizuki is around me? I feel hatred rolling off him at times and it is directed towards me." Naruto. "Sure thing Naru-kun." Iruka read the note and decided to answer Naruto now before the others arrived. "No problem Ototo," Iruka said just loud enough for Naruto to hear. Naruto then mouthed a, "Thank you," to Iruka with a big smile on his face. -5 minutes later, all the students got in the classroom and went through introductions, just their names, a hobby or two and any dream they might have for the future. Time for introductions. Naruto, since you are the oldest, why don't you go first? Iruka said in more of an order than a question. "Okay sure Iruka-sensei. My name is Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki." Naruto said and thought. "My hobbies include gardening, training, and being with friends. My dreams, To bring back the Uzumaki clan and protect all my precious people. Naruto said proudly while a certain student snorted at him thinking he is lame. You, arrogant, why don't you go next? Naruto questioned in a superior tone. Why not? But after this I want a discussion in front of this class. Said the aforementioned student. My name is Sasuke Uchiha and I am the second heir of the Uchiha clan. My hobbies include training in the Uchiha clan jutsu and techniques. My dream is to surpass both my father and brother and make the Uchiha clan even greater. Sasuke said arrogantly while some of the already turned fangirls proclaimed the greatness of their Sasuke-kun. Okay, now continue on, students, Mizuki said, annoyed with the students already. Shino Aburame. I like studying bugs. My dream is to be an efficient clan head. Choji Akamichi. I like food, preparing new recipes, and training. My dream is to be a great clan head and chef. Sakura Haruno. I like hanging with friends, being around a certain someone, and reading. I want to be a proficient ninja and hopefully retire young and get married. Hinata Hyuga. I like studying medicine, training, and making medicine. I want to be a great clan head and unite both branches of the Hyuga clan. Hiba Inuzuka. I like training, and helping Hinata-chan find the herbs she needs. I want to be a great alpha. Kopi Keduan. I like clay sculptures and making friends. I want to increase my clan's prestige and honor. Shikamaru Nara. I like sleeping and cloud watching. I want to be a decent clan head. Ino Yamanaka. I like gardening, meeting friends, and learning my clan jutsu. I want to be a great clan head or unite my clan with my possible husband's clan if it is the better option. AN. Skipped all the cannon fodder people who will barely be seen. Okay, now that we have all been introduced, let's have a sparring match. Final winner faces Naruto since he is a year older. Match 1. Shino vs. Hiba. Winner. Shino. Match 2. Choji vs. Shikamaru. Winner. Choji by forfeit. Match 3. Hinata vs. Kopi. Winner. Hinata. Match 4. Sakura vs. Ino. Winner. Ino. Match 5. Sasuke vs. Cannon Fodder 1. Winner. Sasuke. Match 6. Cannon Fodder 2 vs. Cannon Fodder 3. Double knockout. Okay, we will take a break to learn some history, then we will have an early lunch and then continue the next round. Then a lesson on the ninja arts for a bit in the last few rounds and finals right after that. Iruka said. Naruto and Shikamaru fell asleep, both already knowing the history because of their respective mothers. Wake up, Naruto and Shikamaru, Iruka exclaimed to the sleeping boys. Everyone then ate lunch and got ready for the next round. Match 1. Shino vs. Choji. Winner. Shino. Match 2. Hinata vs. Ino. Tie. Both ran out of energy but stayed conscious. Match 3. Sasuke vs. Cannon Fodder 4. Winner. Sasuke. Okay, so we have 2 more rounds and then the finalist faces Naruto. Time for ninja arts study time, Iruka said to the students. Naruto has been doing physical workouts, only taking a break to personally watch Hinata and Ino fight. He had a Kage Bunshin watch the others. Naruto and Shikamaru fell asleep again, although Naruto had 2 Kage Bunshin pay attention to class so he could still learn. Alright, time to finish the tournament, Mizuki declared as Iruka put his teacher's book away. Hiba, Hinata, Ino, Choji. Naruto called out lazily. You guys have done great. You should feel proud of yourselves. Naruto complimented with Ino blushing and stammering out a, thank you, to the blonde boy. Thanks Naruto-san, Choji said after a few handfuls of extra barbecue chips. Just call me Naruto, okay Choji. I hate formalities, Naruto informed the Akamichi. Thanks Naruto ni, Hiba and Hinata said to him. Naruto just smiled a big foxy smile which made them all feel good. Shikamaru was sleeping under a tree now. Naruto made a Kage Bunshin to watch the competitions as he does more physical workouts, but this time Kiba and Choji join him and Shikamaru eventually does also. Ino and Hinata were watching them while chatting about everything. So Hinata-chan, Do you know if Naruto is single? Ino asked her new best friend. I am not sure, Ino-chan. I think he is going to be dating Kiba's sister once he is a genin. Hinata replied. Oh, Ino sighed dejectedly. Looks like I am going to be training even harder and maybe catch Naruto's eye, or see if Kiba's sister wants to share. Sounds like a plan, Ino-chan. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we start our own little herb garden so we can make medicine during breaks and Naruto can also help? Hinata suggested. Sounds terrific, Hina-chan. Ino exclaimed while hugging Hinata. Match 1. Shino vs. Cannon Fodder 5. Winner. Shino. Match. Sasuke vs. Cannon Fodder 6. Winner. Sasuke. Finals. Shino vs. Sasuke. Shino and Sasuke were standing 10 feet apart in the academy training grounds ready for the signal to begin. Hajime, called Mizuki as Iruka, was watching Naruto and his slowly growing group of friends. Shino's bugs were swarming around him as some formed a shield and spear. Meanwhile, Sasuke dropped into the Uchiha Taijutsu style, even though he has not unlocked his Sharingan. Shino threw his bug spear, which Sasuke tried to counter with a small Gukaku Jutsu, which just dispersed the spear, only killing a few bugs. The bugs then latched on the Sasuke and started to drain his chakra. Sasuke eventually got them off by flaring his chakra with minor fire chakra in it. Shino and Sasuke then engaged in some taijutsu. Shino then punched Sasuke in the jaw while releasing a smoke bomb to blind him. It had the reverse effect, however, as Sasuke then sprinted extremely fast and nailed Shino in the gut, knocking him out. Okay, now we will give Sasuke some time to rest before fighting Naruto. Mizuki said as he hoped for Sasuke to cripple Naruto. Mizuki even gave Sasuke a chakra pill to take right before the match. Hajime. Iruka yelled for the final fight to begin. Sasuke threw 2 smoke bombs on the ground and swallowed the chakra pill, giving him a big boost. Sasuke then channeled chakra to his legs to make himself faster and went to punch Naruto in the jaw with a simultaneous kick to his groin. Naruto caught both, which shocked the hell out of Sasuke. Naruto flipped Sasuke over his shoulder and face first into the ground. Naruto then made a quick Fuinjutsu tag to cancel Sasuke's chakra, which was extremely effective. Naruto also released 1/5 of the weight on his body and sped forward, drop-kicking Sasuke. Sasuke was sent flying out of bonds and was knocked out. Arrogant asshole, Naruto muttered, but all of Sasuke's fangirls screamed at him, hurting his ears. Naruto then released all the weight on his body and sprinted to a safe distance and reapplied his weight. Thank Kami for Fuinjutsu resistance seals and weight seals. Naruto thought as he didn't have to carry any bulky weights. Ino, Hinata, Kiba, Choji, Shikamaru, and a now conscious Shino went to congratulate him on his quick win. Naruto, how did you gain such speed? Choji asked. He released his weights. Kiba answered. What weights? Shikamaru asked. Fuinjutsu weights. They are very handy and I just finished learning how to make them. Naruto answered. Really? Can I get some? The whole group asked. Naruto decided it was okay and put 10 pounds on each limb for everyone, except Kiba, who got 20 on both arms and 30 on both legs. Why did I get so much? Kiba whined. Cause you want to be the best in your clan, so you need more to get ahead faster, mutt. Naruto retorted in a calm manner. Naruto, could you help us make a medical herb and flowers garden here? Hinata and Ino asked together. Sure thing, Hinata, Imoto and Ino-chan. Naruto replied with a happy smile. Sasuke was fuming as he overheard everything and thought 3 things. I have to get San to teach me more and place weight seals on me. I also should try to convince one of those girls that are around Naruto to be with me and help me make the clan greater. The next day, weekend with no classes. Naruto held a scroll filled with gardening supplies and was waiting for Ino and Hinata, who soon appeared. They were both carrying bags of seeds and some organic fertilizer from Ino's parents' shop. Hey Naruto-kun, Ino called to her fellow blonde. Hey Ino-chan, Hinata-chan, Naruto said with a soft smile as he undid his sealing scroll, thus releasing shovels, rakes, clippers, 3 watering pails, and some pots for windowsill plants. Whoa! Both Hinata and Ino gasped at all the equipment. The trio of gardeners spent the next 2.5 hours digging rows to plant the seeds while mixing in the fertilizer and filling the pots that are on the windowsills. Then they took a break to eat some of Naruto's homemade dango and pork stew. Naruto, where did you learn to cook? Ino asked. I learned from Sum Kyo, Hiyashi Kyofu, my caretaker, and Hokage Jiji. Naruto answered after finishing a stick of dango. Naruto ni, do you happen to have any of your homemade cinnamon buns, red bean paste, or chocolate fudge? Hinata asked, knowing that those are some of the best desserts he makes. Ino perked up at the mention of homemade red bean paste. Actually, I have 2 plates of cinnamon buns, 1 pot of red bean paste, and 4 trays of fudge. Naruto said as he unsealed all the desserts and gave everyone a plate with some of each. Ino then tasted the red bean paste and started drooling at how good it was. Naruto-kun, may I have the recipe for the red bean paste? Ino asked after they finished as much as they could, and Naruto resealed the reset and gave it to Hinata for her to take to the orphanage so they could have more food while he and Ino waited for her. Sorry Ino-chan, but it is a family recipe. But I could make you a big pot full every other week like I do for Hinata and the cinnamon buns. Naruto said with a small sincere smile. Oh, well that works too, Ino smiled. -10 minutes later, Ino and Naruto spent time talking and getting along even better and becoming best friends. Hinata returned, but Kiba and Hana also were with her. Hana-chan, Naruto exclaimed as he hopped up and ran over and hugged her as she hugged him, and they shared a very quick kiss as they have been doing for the past year. So we are here to help you guys with this academy garden. Kiba stated proudly as he gave Hinata a small hug and Ino a warm smile. Hi, I am Hana Inuzuka, Kiba's older sister. You are Ino Yamanaka, right? Hana asked with a warm and slightly feral smile with a mischievous glint in her eyes. Yep, I am Ino Yamanaka. Nice to meet you, Hana, Ino said without formalities, knowing it will just bug the Inuzuka thanks to Kiba telling her yesterday. Well, Ino-chan, come talk to me in private for a second. Hana said with a now mischievous smile and eye glint. Ino nodded yes and followed her to the other side of the ninja academy. So Ino-chan, you like my Naru-kun? Hana asked calmly. Why yes I do. Ino replied nervously. Well, I will tell you a secret that my mom Sum, the clan head of the Inuzukas, told me, and that your dad could have told you too. What do you mean? Well, first off, Inuzukas allow for men to have multiple mates but usually no more than 2 or 3, and one is usually the alpha, which is me by the way. Naruto is also the last of his clan but can claim his rights until the council is reorganized, which will happen soon by both the Hokage and Ninja Council, Hana said. Really? Ino asked shocked. Yep, replied Hana with a big smile. -20 minutes later, Hana and Ino return with Ino blushing like crazy when she looked at Naruto. The group then spent 3 hours planting the seeds in all the rows and pots. When they finished, Naruto decided to ask them out to a group party. Guys, go back home and grab your swim gear and I will grab Choji, Shino and Shikamaru. Then we will meet back here. I will gonna take you all to a little clearing that is behind the Hokage monument. Naruto said with a tired smile. -45 minutes later, Naruto, Shino, and Shikamaru met everyone else at the academy when Kakashi appeared with his girlfriend Suikazura Sukiakara. They walked over to the base of the Hokage monument where they met Iruka Yumino and his girlfriend Shizune. The whole group except for Shizune knew that Iruka was going to propose to her in front of the waterfall. Iruka, Shizune, Kakashi, and Suikazura shunted the group to the edge of the clearing and were amazed when they saw Naruto clones already setting up and cooking dinner. Wow, Naru-kun, already ahead of schedule, Hana said as she hugged Naruto. Hee, yeah, I guess so. Just wanted everything to be ready for this great day, Naruto said with a big grin as he rubbed the back of his head. Let's all go swimming. Choji, Naruto, and Kiba yelled before sprinting to the top of the waterfall and diving in. Shikamaru pulled out a little raft and laid down on it with 2 water guns for whoever tries to disturb him. Shino sat on the beach letting his kikaichu bugs roam free and reads a book on insects. Hana, Ino, and Hinata jumped in and swam towards the guys and all were having a good time. Kakashi and Suikazura were on a little raft making out while Iruka and Shizune were using their water chakra to splash each other and anyone that they can reach. Once they all tired out a bit they went to the table after drying off. They all ate the steaks, baked sweet potatoes, and crab stew. Then for dessert they had cinnamon bun sundaes with hot fudge. Ino also had some of Naruto's red bean paste that is now her favorite. Naru Ototo, why did you go all out for this? Shizune asked. Because I felt like it. Naruto replied. Hey, let's dance, everybody, Iruka suggested. Yeah, sounds good, some said. Naruto made a shadow clone to dance with Ino while he decided to dance with Hana on the shore where the waves were crashing. Hinata and Kiba danced in the grass and flowers. Kakashi took Suikazura onto the water to dance and Iruka took Shizune to in front of the waterfall to dance. Shino, Shikamaru, and Choji were surprised when the girls from their respective clans that they liked, or in Shikamaru's case a shadow clone of his mom as the girls are too troublesome. Choji was dancing with Hisui Akamichi and Shino was dancing with Kuin Aburame. Hisui is like an Akamichi version of Ino and Hinata mixed together. Kuin is like Samui and Shizune mixed together. Suikazura is like Sun mixed with Kurenai. Shikamaru dispelled his mother's shadow clone and went to set up cameras while everyone made room for Iruka and Shizune who were in their own little world. Iruka suddenly stopped and dropped down to one knee. Shizune-chan, will you do me the honor of becoming my wife? Iruka asked nervously. Yes I will, Iruka. Shizune squealed in excitement as she was finally getting married to the man she loves. All of a sudden a dozen or so cameras go off catching all of the exchange. Congrats! Everyone yelled and gave the new a big group hug. It is now the year before graduation year for Naruto and his class while it is graduation year for his generation. Naruto has spent his time doing pranks to work on his trap making and practicing his fuinjutsu, ninjutsu, medical jutsu, and kenjutsu and taijutsu katas. The pranks and physical workouts have been done by Naruto himself while he had Kage Bunshin work on the jutsus and studying the katas. Fuinjutsu was practiced by the clones and perfected by the original. Naruto's personal summons from the Gamma contract, Buke and Kango, were almost always around him and helped in training. Naruto even summoned the boss of the Walrus contract and got a personal summon for them too. Flashback. 2 years after first failing the academy, Naruto has finally gotten even better at summoning and has finally been able to summon large summons and eventually worked his way up to boss level. Naruto summoned the Gamma boss Gamabunta, who told Naruto he was proud to see him and that he could summon the boss Walrus tomorrow, but he would be even more drained than now. The next day Naruto was at the waterfall with Buke and Kango who put special summoning seals there so they can come and go without using Naruto's chakra. Naruto summoned 4 clones to practice chakra control by combining all the techniques he knows and 1 to practice kunai balancing with 1 kunai on each index finger, still learning the basics. Naruto then started the hand signs for the Walrus contract. It was just like the Gamma contracts but had a Tatsu seal and Tora seal at the end. Kuchio's no jutsu, Naruto exclaimed as he pumped loads of chakra into the jutsu. There was a humongous poof of smoke that quickly dissipated to reveal a large walrus with 2 scars going vertically down the side of his face just to the right of his right eye and a broken left tusk which was jagged and half as long as his right tusk. Who dares use the Uzumaki clan summons? The Walrus contract only allows the Uzumaki and none of the other filthy vermin that walk this planet. Bellowed a furious walrus that was ready to fight, already reaching for his special scythe. Excuse me, Mr. Walrus-sama. I summoned you. My name is Naruto N. You Uzumaki and I am the heir to the Uzumaki clan. Naruto exclaimed nervously to the giant walrus. Ha ha, finally, we have an Uzumaki back that can summon us. Good thing I can feel your chakra, otherwise I would have skewered you, young man. The giant walrus laughed. Naruto on the other hand didn't know if he should be happy or angry towards how the big marine mammal was talking to him. Well, what is your name? I need to know the name of the boss summoned for my contract. Naruto yelled, slightly frustrated that he needed to ask. Well, young Naruto-kun, I am Mirio Shinjin and I am the boss of the Walrus contract. Also called the Seiuchi contract, even though that is more of an older name that only the elder Uzumaki used for us. Said the now named Mirio Shinjin. Amazing. So is there anything I must do to finalize my contract with the Seiuchi clan? Naruto asked. Yes my boy, there is. First off, you are going to have to get a personal summon, so just do the hand seals and let the chakra flow naturally. Mirio Shinjin said to the new summoner. Okay. Kuchio's no jutsu. Naruto exclaimed. Yon who summoned me. I was sleeping after my latest adventure. Whined a rusty orange and midnight blue walrus about the same size as Naruto with an already scarred flipper and sharp tusks. I did, and I am Naruto Uzumaki and your partner. Naruto said with a warm smile as Book and Kango appeared and moved forward to see the new companion. Also, you summoned little Supai, the troublemaker and self-proclaimed adventurer of the new generation. He will be a good personal summon for you. Now the rest will be revealed later on as you are too young at the moment. Mirio Shinjin said. Flashback end. Naruto can now be seen with Book, Kango, and Supai at any given time as they are almost always with him. Naruto, Book, and Supai all practice kenjutsu together with Yugao and Hayate all the time, and the three beginners are always building up their skills. Naruto and Kango also practice medical jutsu with Hana, and all three are supervised by Shizune, who is helping them become even better. Hana is now a genin, almost chunin in another year or two, and Anko and Kurenai are now high chunin and most likely jonin in another year or two. Naruto, Neji, Ino, and the rest of the gang are still academy students. Naruto, Ino, and Hinata can be found at the academy garden during their free time while at the academy. They even created a little picnic spot in the middle where they hang out with Kiba, Choji, Shino, and Shikamaru when they are eating, studying, or just relaxing. In the center of their garden clearing is a white pine tree that Yamato made from Naruto's little sapling. In other words, it is a full-grown copy of Naruto's sapling tree. Naruto and Choji practice cooking and grilling together, while Kiba tries grilling at times also. Naruto, Shino, and Shikamaru all play shogi together, and everyone would just hang out at the clearing when they want to relax or practice. Naruto has even revealed his heritage to the group and they were stunned to no belief, but they swore to keep his secret until he decides to reveal it. In their training terms, all their weights have gone from 10 pounds on each limb to closer to 100 pounds. Kiba has closer to 120 pounds on his legs and 110 pounds on his arms, but Naruto's weights blow his away. Naruto has around 160 pounds on each limb and even on his torso. The waterfall clearing was placed under Uzumaki property with seals placed by Jiraiya, which could move the whole area to Uzu no Kuni when they want. The group also started to call it Fox Falls Clearing due to finding a small family of mischievous but friendly foxes who they all took care of and fed. They even gave them all chakra enhancements, like what the Inuzukas do for their nin dogs. Naruto has also discovered a lost Senju scroll hidden in a cave behind the waterfall when he went to help the foxes with the others getting the Hokage, Tsume, and Tsunade, who was back for a visit. Flashback. Yip, yip, yap. The gang turned around to see two half-starved and battered kits. They all were saddened and Naruto quickly approached the kits with some meat from the table, which the kits eagerly accepted. Hana-chan and Ino-chan go get Tsunade Ba-chan quickly. Neji and Hinata Imoto go get Hokage Gigi now. Kiba Ototo and Choji go get Tsume Kyo. Hurry. Naruto ordered. What about us? Shikamaru asked as he and Shino were waiting for orders. I need you two to keep these kits safe while I go check behind the waterfall. I can hear a quiet whimper and yelp coming from in there. Naruto said. Sure thing, Naruto. Shikamaru and Shino said as they brought food to the kits, and Shino also brought some water and bowls for them to drink from. Naruto swam through the waterfall and followed the slowly increasing whimpers and yelps and comes across two full-grown foxes that have their tails stuck under a fallen rock and apparently a broken leg each. Naruto releases his weights and lifts the rock off of them and places it to the side. Naruto then replaces his weights as he picks up the foxes, who actually point their noses towards a chest in the back of the cave with a blood seal on it and the Senju trident engraved into it. What is this? Naruto thought as he grabbed the chest with a free hand. Naruto then made two seal-less shadow clones, one to take the chest and the other to weaken the waterfall's pressure as he goes through it. As Naruto made it out, he saw Tsunade, Hiruzen and Tsun there looking worried as Hana healed the kits with Tsunade guiding her. Naruto smiled as he laid down the foxes by their kits and he helped heal them also. Once they were healed and fed, Naruto walked over to the chest and put his blood on it. The chest slowly opened, revealing an ancient scroll with a combined Senju trident and Uzumaki swirl. There was also a note saying it was a gift between the two clans, from before the Shodime's time, and it was a peace treaty saying that the cousin clans would always have each other's backs. The scroll itself was a guide to accessing pure energy for fighting, which would not bother with chakra reserves and could be used when the fighter has little to no chakra left in their reserves. The little to no reserves people would have a one-hit chance before chakra exhaustion, but there was also a seal that held things in a timeless storage. They came with a note saying that the seeds would heal any injuries and replenish all energy. To say everyone was amazed beyond belief is an understatement. It is more like they met Kami, or Susanoo, or Yami, or even Shinigami. Naruto took the seeds and decided to plant 4 out of the 20 in his own personal garden in the Sarutobi clan compound. Flashback end. Naruto now always has a bag of 30 or so seeds for eating on him, and the seeds he named Kaseki Kenko, Miracle Health, for its wonderful healing capabilities. Naruto even gave 2 bags, equaling about 200 total seeds, to Tsunade for Uzu no Kuni to have a self-sufficient crop and store them before he arrives. Naruto also developed multiple strains of it by adding his chakra, Gamma Nature Chakra, both the healing version from Kengo and the warrior version from Book, and Walrus Nature Chakra. Naruto's chakra made a more potent, or more restored energy and chakra, version of the Kaseki Kenko seeds forming version I. Book's chakra made a strain that increased muscle strength, endurance, stamina, and speed for a certain amount of time, producing version 2. Kengo's chakra made a strain that heals the body of all physical ailments except for genetic diseases and also helps jumpstart the chakra coils of people suffering from exhaustion, producing version 3. Supai's chakra on the other hand provided a strain that temporarily increases lung capacity, stronger muscles, and the ability to swim as deep and as long as a walrus, thus making version IV. Naruto himself tested each strain and found out you can't mix any of the versions together, but you can combine the original with one of the versions. He also discovered that you shouldn't take more than one of each of the strains a day, but the original is safe to take as long as it is only taken when really exhausted. Naruto also helped Shizune advocate for a med-nin class, which Hana also helped support. Hiruzen didn't even argue as he was hoping Shizune or Tsunade would push for it so he could have a teacher for the class right away. Now he has a full-time teacher, a part-time teacher, and a student who also helps teach it. Naruto is proficient at medicine ninjutsu but prefers to make powders, pills, potions, and things of that type. Hana prefers to use the jutsu and knows a little bit about the medications, unless they are veterinary medicines. Shizune is a master, second only to Tsunade, at all med jutsu. Now the village has changed dramatically as Hiruzen grew fiercer and showed less weakness and put the council in its place. Along with cleaning up some loose roots. Flashback around Naruto's 4th year at the academy. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Sandyame Hokage of Konohagakure, was, for the 1000th time today it seems, rejecting papers that called for the execution or exile of one Naruto Uzumaki. Hiruzen couldn't stand it anymore, so he called a council meeting immediately. Hiruzen told his best Anbu to drag council members here if they take longer than 5 minutes to get ready. Hiruzen also decided to be late by about 15 minutes and promptly told the clan heads that were kind to Naruto to meet him in his office and join him before the council meeting. Now 20 minutes before the meeting is scheduled to start, the Hokage is talking to the clan heads of the Aburame, Akamichi, Hyuga, Inuzuka, Nara, and Yamanaka. The major clan heads, besides the Uchiha, were all nice to Naruto and were being informed of what is going to happen. The plan was going to put the civilian council, the Uchiha, minor clans, and the elders in their places as they are only advisors. Hiruzen told them that when they walk in to release all the ki that they want and take their seats, as he tells the council that this meeting is for 3 things. -35 minutes after their meeting in the Hokage's office, Hiruzen and the clan heads walked through the door, leaking tons of ki from each of them. Sarutobi, what is the meaning of this damn meeting? Demanded Kaharu. Udatane complained to her former teammate as Homura Mitokado nodded in agreement as he didn't like being disturbed. Shut the hell up, Kaharu-san, Hiruzen said, obviously angry. What the hell are you grumpy about, Sarutobi? Spat Danzo. Shut up and listen for once, you pig. Growled out Sume as all the good clan heads released ki. This meeting has been called for 3 things. Before I tell you what they are, I will give you one last warning. Any interruptions from any of you will be subdued by the clan heads and or Anbu in whatever way they deem fit. Hiruzen declared, scaring the civilians and weaker ninja with all the ki he was leaking by himself. Now, as I was saying, this meeting has been called for 3 things. First, Naruto Uzumaki. Second, the council itself. Third, some loose roots, Hiruzen said. Just then the civilians started a ruckus, which was promptly stopped by the Anbu holding their respective tanto to a counselor's neck. Naruto Uzumaki is to be left alone and no longer bothered by you fucking retards. Any civilian or ninja who beats Naruto and calls him a demon or Kyuubi Gaki shall definitely spend time in Anbu T&I with Ibiki and his new apprentice, Anko, and they both take it personally when Naruto is harmed. Attempts to take his life equal immediate death and incineration by me, Anbu, and any ninja who stop the beatings. Hiruzen said. The Anbu then cut into a fat civilian's side and let him bleed out slowly. Take that as a warning, as that man was in every single one of Naruto-kun's memories of the beatings. Hiruzen said with his voice colder than ice and scarier than hell on earth. Now onto this Kami-damned council. You have too much power and this is a fucking dictatorship. You only advise. When I say, jump, you fucking jump. When I say use yourself as a fucking meat shield, you do it. When I say, shut the fuck up, and, get lost, you better fucking do it, or I will have your voice box removed and you're thrown out by my summons. If I give an order, the village follows it with no questions asked, and you follow it even stricter than that. Now all you Kami damn bastards of the civilian council will no longer show up because you were all removed from office, and your replacements will only meet when I call for them. Also only I will call meetings and give orders, no one else. Elders, this is also the last meeting you will come to unless I ask for you to come. Hiruzen declared. He knew the civilian Haruno clan will always have a member in some type of council, but he can't exile them all or kill them all right now. Now onto the loose roots. Anbu and clan heads surround and detain Danzo as Kakashi and Anbu, codenamed Tenzo, take out these horrible roots on the walls. Inoichi, please go through Danzo's mind and break all mental barriers to see how many root agents he has. Hiruzen demanded. Hi Hokage-sama, Inoichi Yamanaka said as he went through Danzo's mind and finds out all that he is responsible for. Hokage-sama, Danzo has about 1/3 of the village en route in one way or another. Some from each clan, except the Inuzuka, and civilians. He also has the Shodime's cells in his arm and multiple Sharingan in his arm. He even has Hoku Uchiha's right eye implanted in his head under those bandages. Inoichi revealed, causing Shisui Uchiha, who is one of the last few Uchiha, to use a jutsu to destroy Danzo's implanted Sharingan. Danzo had a suppressor seal placed on him as he was stabbed through the heart, but lives, and taken to Ibiki and Anko for some fun. Shisui broke down after he was gone because he lost almost his whole clan in one night because of Danzo and his root Uchiha and other types of root members. All that is left are him, his girlfriend Katai, Itachi's girlfriend Kumori, Sasuke, and a girl 1 year younger than Sasuke named Suiren. They all still remember walking home after the younger ones were being picked up and seeing all these dead, lifeless, cold bodies. Itachi and Sasuke raced right home and saw an Uchiha named Kazan slaying their parents and other Uchiha, along with the root Uchiha. Kazan revealed his Sharingan being an advanced Mangekyo Sharingan, which showed he took his siblings' normal Sharingan. I'm going along the idea that if you replace your Mangekyo with another it becomes eternal, but if it is replaced by a normal it becomes advanced, which means no blindness. Shisui and Itachi swore to rebuild their clan and they all swore to kill Kazan if they ever happen across him. Itachi, Shisui, Katai, and Kumori were filled with so much grief that it unlocked their Mangekyo, which they all preserved a close relative's eyes in case they start going blind. Sasuke and Suiren had unlocked stage 1 of their Sharingan but fainted and have been unable to access their Sharingan for some reason. All root members were being roped up by Kakashi, Yamato, and the Anbu under their command. They captured them alive but suppressed their movements and Jiraiya negated their seals and they became integrated into the Anbu Black Ops Advanced Corps. They would be taking on the hardest missions around and perform infiltration, espionage, and sabotage. They would also be going through a program to help recover their emotions when not on duty. End flashback. Naruto, now on his way to his favorite food stand ever, Ichiraku Ramen, to see his adopted family. The Ichiraku family was always close to Naruto and has always treated him. Ayame ne, Tsuki Jiji. Naruto called. Oi, we're here, just getting some ingredients out. Naruto-kun. Came Tsuki's voice as he and Ayame were carrying a box of ramen ingredients. Here, I'll help, Naruto said as he made 2 kage bunshin to relieve Ayame and Tsuki as he picks up a side, and all 3 Narutos carried the box to the front and placed it under the counter. Thanks Naruto-kun, Ni-kun. Tsuki and Ayame said as they were sincerely thankful for the help. Naruto just grinned and hugged them both as Tsuki started making his ramen and Ayame helped, while talking with Naruto. Hey Ayame ne, Tsuki Jiji, I have a question I want to ask you guys. Naruto stated a bit nervously. What is it Gaki? Tsuki asked with a playful little grin. Well, I was wondering if why you guys wanted to, join the Uzumaki clan. Naruto asked even more nervous. Sure thing Naruto-kun. Tsuki smiled to his surrogate grandson figure. Definitely Naruto ni-kun. Ayame grinned overjoyed by the fact that Naruto will actually be her brother. Really? Thank you so much. Okay, you two need to come to the Hokage's office after closing time for it to be done. Naruto said with a huge grin, threatening to split his face in half. -2 hours later at the Hokage's office. So Naruto-kun, you want Ayame-chan and Tsuki-kun to join your family? Hiruzen asked happily. Absolutely Jiji-sama, Naruto said happily with a mix of formality and informality. Hiruzen Sarutobi proceeded to take out some blood transfusion seals and syringes to put some Namikaze Uzumaki DNA into Ayame and Tsuki. Once 2 syringes were fully filled, the seals were placed onto Ayame and Tsuki above their heart, which was where the needle slightly broke the skin and injected all the good DNA while the bad was destroyed by the seal. Ayame's hair then went from full brunette to brunette with red streaks and blonde tips. Tsuki's brown slightly gray hair gained some slight blonde streaks and red tips, but his wasn't as noticeable as Ayame's was. The new family members went to their own apartment for one last time since Naruto and them would pack up everything and move it into the Sarutobi compound. Naruto hasn't gained access to the whereabouts of the Namikaze Uzumaki compound since he hasn't reached a certain level of Fuinjutsu mastership yet. Meanwhile with Kushina, Uzu no Kuni looked like a mess and horrid when she first arrived. Now most of the downed and unusable buildings have been removed. All items have been stored in a special Uzumaki storage scroll, which could hold all of Konoha 3 times over. Kushina found scrolls containing Kenjutsu, Ninjutsu, Taijutsu, Genjutsu, Medical Jutsu, Kinjutsu, and a whole 2 blocks of Fuinjutsu scrolls. She even found old Uzumaki legends, Senju artifacts and even a scroll on the ways to negate the Sharingan. Kushina has slowly been able to rebuild some buildings thanks to Tsunade and Jiraiya and their summons. Kushina also signed both the Slug and Gamma contracts to help her and because both summoning clans wanted her to summon them. Kushina has even read up on the Uzumaki legend of the 5 sages. The 5 sages states that there were 5 members of the Uzumaki clan who excelled at one of the 5 elements each. Everything about a sage represented their element, that is how in tune they were. The Kaden An chakra will be addressed in English while the jutsu and sages are in Japanese. Sage was fiery, quick to anger, hot-headed, and was easily sent over the edge. The Fuden sage was swift, quick, calm yet fierce, and cunning, sharp. The Raiden sage was energetic, dynamic, accurate, and destructive. The Doden sage was bulky, slow, sturdy, resilient, and unbelievably strong. The Sweden sage was flexible, agile, calm yet dangerous, and precise. The sages were the elite of the elite in the olden times of the Uzumaki clan. They would only ever answer to the clan head and follow leads they had from spies in other clans and small towns and villages. The 5 sages slowly faded into myth as the Uzumaki clan settled in Uzu no Kuni and made ways to constantly protect Uzu no Kuni. Unfortunately, some enemy ninja got through in the Second Shinobi War. The Sweden sage made the never-ending whirlpools, the Raiden and Fuden sages made the maelstroms around the island with the biggest and most dangerous lightning in the elemental nations, the Doden sage made the 4 stone guardians that protect the compass points, and the Kaden sage made the living fire beasts, which became something similar hellhounds. Unfortunately, Kumo and Iwa had somehow found out how to bypass the maelstroms and whirlpools. Then the Iwa troops blocked off the guardians from the people who had to initially start them up. The Kumo troops used their Sweden and Raiden ninjutsu to drench and electrocute the hellhounds. Maybe I will try to start the 5 sages again. Of course I will need to find the best shinobi who have mastery of one of the elements each. Damn it, I would still have to go through that lame process of adopting them into the clan also. Kushina said to herself as she finished reading over the scroll about the 5 sages. What's this? Kushina asked as she saw a summoning seal on the bottom of the scroll. Kushina applied chakra and out popped 5 weapons. The first thing Kushina saw though was a note. All it said was sentient. There was a katana, a scythe, clawed gauntlets, a staff, and retractable wrist blades. The katana was intricately designed with flames. The scythe was designed with wind currents and tornadoes. The clawed gauntlets were designed with rocks and mountains, and the staff was designed with waves and whirlpools. The wrist blades were designed with lightning bolts. Each weapon allowed for improved utilization of the user's elemental chakra. The wrist blades and clawed gauntlets could combine together while the scythe could combine with the staff. The weapons were immediately sent to an area shared by the toads and slugs for safekeeping until they were needed. Kushina has also rebuilt some buildings towards the center of the once great village. Residential areas were built with a small market area. Although there is no one to live there yet, Kushina wanted to build up the future village-sized compound for the future Namikaze Uzumaki clan. Kushina was planning on hiring builders from Wave to build bridges to the connecting islands to allow for more people to live in Uzu no Kuni. Kushina has also contacted the rebels in Kiri who are sending their injured, young, and elderly to a campsite on an island just off of Uzu no Kuni and will hopefully have them join the new Uzushio. Kushina already had the last of the Yuki clan, Haku and Jade, and 2 ex-Kiri ninja, Zabuza Momochi and Utakata. Naruto just woke up with a huge grin on his face as today was the day of the graduation exam. It is only 6 in the morning and the academy doesn't start until 8. Naruto has always woken up this early just to go get some of his friends together at the Inuzuka compound before the academy. Naruto made himself a small plate of scrambled eggs, like 1 or 2 eggs, and some bacon, about 2 slices, and a bowl of rice and noodles. Naruto mixed the rice into his breakfast ramen noodles and then mixed in the egg and bacon. While some though it was weird, it was actually delicious. Flashback start. Naruto, Ayame, and Chuki spent a month trying to get the recipe right. They made the noodles a bit thicker. The broth was more seasoned with breakfast spices, and the rice, eggs, and bacon helped add more nutrition and flavor that went well with the broth. Flashback end. Naruto is now approaching the Yamanaka flower shop, as it was the closest to where he lived, just a few feet away from the Sarutobi compound. Knock, knock, knock. Naruto knocked on the front door and was soon greeted by Ino's mom, Momo Yamanaka. "Hi Momo-san, is Ino ready?" Naruto asked politely. "Hi, Naruto-kun. She will be down in about 10 minutes, come on in and have some tea," Momo said to her daughter's crush, ushering him into the living room. "Okay, thanks Momo-san." Naruto smiled as he walked in and took the offered cup of tea. "So Naruto-kun, are you excited for today?" Momo asked, passing time as they waited for Ino. "Yeah, I can't wait. Oh, and I know something very special about Ino," Naruto said with a grin. "What is it Naruto?" Momo asked, her voice etched with curiosity. "Well, Tsunade Ba-chan told me that she is coming back today and she will be officially taking Ino as one of her 2 apprentices and they will be working with me and Jiraiya and Shizune and Hinata for missions, training, and backup for other teams," Naruto said, leaving out the part about the Hokage himself confirming all this and that the Sannin made the Hokage agree to it. "Really? That's amazing." Momo all but squealed and hugged Naruto tight, making him blush. She let go of him soon after though and Ino arrived after the hug. "What's with the squealing Ka-chan?" Ino asked, slightly annoyed. "Just a surprise for when you graduate," Momo said with a knowing smile. "Oh come on, tell me," Ino begged. "Nope, and neither will Naruto-kun. Come on Ino-chan, let's go." "Bye Momo-san," Naruto said and dragged Ino out the door towards the Aburame compound, which was the farthest from the other compounds. Shino was already there waiting for them and greeted them with a nod and a small wave, which they returned. Then they got to the Hyuga compound and met Hinata with a smile and friendly hug. After that, the 4 of them went to the neighboring Akamichi and Nara compounds and got Shikamaru and Choji who were watching the clouds and eating some cereal. "Come on lazy," Naruto called jokingly while the current group slightly chuckled at the duo as the Nara heir muttered his favorite saying, "troublesome," and the Akamichi heir hopped up and continued eating. The group of 6 then got to the Inuzuka compound where Kiba welcomed them into the living room where there was a big plate of bacon, sausage, and egg dumplings. "Come on in guys. Ka-san made enough food for all of us, and we still have about an hour and a half until the academy starts," Kiba said joyously. The whole group went in and they all ate their shares in about half an hour and they were all filled. "Hey, is it all right if I pack the rest up for the foxes at the clearing?" Naruto asked and Tsume happened to hear. "Certainly Naru-kun, here I will shunshin you all there and then you can leave to the academy afterwards," Tsume told her godson, son, and their friends with a small happy smile. "Thanks," the group exclaimed making Tsume chuckle at their enthusiasm. 3 seconds later, Tsume and the 7 ninja-to-be students appeared in the clearing they all call Fox Falls. Tsume then used a shunshin to go back and get ready for her small escort mission to Tsume no Kuni, which requires a rare breed of dog going to a specialty breeder to get the population back up. Naruto then unsealed the leftover food and Ino and Hinata called the Fox family over by name while Choji, Shino, Kiba, and Shikamaru separated the food into equal amounts. Sabita-kun, the father fox, Tamai-chan, the mother fox, Hikori-kun, male kit, almost full grown, and Saphaya-chan, female kit, almost fully grown, come get your food. As Sabita and Tamai guided Hikori and Saphaya to the food, the group saw another pair of kitsune walking side by side with Hikori and Saphaya. Hikori shared his pile with the new female who they decided to call Nezu and Saphaya shared her pile with the new male who they named Saripi. The group also pumped chakra into all the foxes as they ate to make them their own type of ninkin and for Naruto's clan when he is older and restarts it. Naruto then pulled out chakra paper for each of his friends, Akamaru, and the elder kitsune who had the most chakra already. The group was stunned that Naruto would share his chakra paper with them and were all excited to learn what their elements were. Kiba had Doden chakra, Hinata had Suiden chakra, Ino had Doden chakra with a small affinity to Suiten chakra. Shino had Raiden chakra. Choji had Kaden chakra with a small affinity towards Doden chakra, and Shikamaru had an affinity towards Kaden chakra. They were all amazed at the affinities they respectively had. Then the Nin-kin surprised them also. Akamaru had Doden like Kiba and actually had a bit of Kaden from his parents. The elder Kitsune had Doden and Kaden, Sabita, and Suiten and Fuden, Tamai. They all decided that they would work on their main affinities at the Inuzuka compound, where they could have easy help, after the academy and whenever they all had a chance. They all also decided to help the elder Kitsune learn some ways of using their chakra to protect their families, and eventually help protect Uzu when they move them there. Of course only Naruto and the Sannin knew that it was going to happen right now. -45 minutes later. Naruto and company arrived at the academy and decided to check on the garden and harvest any herbs to drop off at Shizune's office before class. They were surprised that all their plants had to be harvested and Shizune was amazed at all the herbs. Naruto, Hinata, and Ino then proceeded to seal away some of the plants, seeds for later use. So are you guys ready for this troublesome exam? Shikamaru sighed. Yeah, but we all want to know something. Naruto, are you going to go all out this year? Everyone said. Yeah, but Shino asked the rest. He was really coming out of his shell with the group. Yeah, I am going to make everyone go crazy. I am also going to make Sasuke and his fangirls complain too. Haha, Naruto said as everyone had a little laugh at his plans. Hey Urukani, are you ready for me to blow everyone away? Naruto exclaimed, getting a chuckle from Iruka. Haha, you bet Naruto. So are you all ready to take the last exam from me? Iruka asked with a small smile. You bet. We are going to surpass you in rank and we will teach you. Kiba called out, making everyone burst out laughing as they walked to their seats in the middle row. Eventually Sasuke walked in and took a window seat with Suiren right next to him, holding hands. Soon after, Sasuke's fangirls came storming in with Sakura leading them. Naruto and company all had earplugs in while Sasuke and Suiren couldn't wait to be away from them. Then the rest of the class came in, followed by Mizuki, who openly glared at Naruto, who stealthily flicked him off without Iruka noticing. Iruka passed out the paper test, which was an easy test for Naruto and company, Sasuke, Suiren, and Sakura. They all finished the test with still half an hour to sleep or read. Iruka collected the papers and dismissed the class for a break as he graded half the tests, namely the clan heirs and Naruto, while Mizuki graded Sakura's and the civilians' papers. Needless to say, the ninja family students all got perfects or just missed a perfect. Shikamaru actually tried and got a perfect with Shino, Naruto, Hinata and the Uchiha duo, while the others got one question wrong. Sakura got all right and the civilian students barely passed. The gang was at their garden table sleeping or reading and just enjoying their time. Naruto studied his Fuinjutsu and figured he was able to unlock the next summoning scroll from his mother's clan. Iruka called them all back and told them that their next test would be shuriken and kunai throwing. All the civilians, minus Sakura, went, and got a combined score of 10/20, which was barely enough to pass. Sakura got a 15/20, 8/10 on kunai and 7/10 on the shuriken, thanks to the practice she received from Mizuki and her uncle who helped her since she started the academy. The gang, except Naruto and Shikamaru, got 19/20. Naruto, Shikamaru, and the Uchiha duo all got perfect, but Naruto and Shikamaru one-upped the Uchiha. Shikamaru moved the targets back 12 extra feet while Naruto moved them back 12 more feet, two behind different objects, a tree and rock, and one was moving. Sasuke was seething as he saw the losers, in his mind, do better than him. Okay guys, for the last portion we are going to have a taijutsu tournament, but one of you guys will have to face Mizuki sensei and last at least 3 minutes or get multiple good hits on him to move up a round. So who wants to take him on? Iruka informed the class. I will, Iruka sensei. Kiba calmly said as he knew that his training will help. Okay Kiba, and you will be healed afterwards, and so will everyone else, so they can do the best each round. Kiba, your match will be first, then the civilians, and then the ninja families. Iruka said. Hiba hopped into the ring with Akamaru by his side, followed by Mizuki who had a smirk on his face. Mizuki got ready and was thinking, well, at least I get to injure the demon's friend before I kill it. Hiba charged forward and threw a smoke bomb to confuse Mizuki. Hiba then dived under Mizuki and kicked him squarely in his manhood. Mizuki collapsed while Kiba and Akamaru charged in with a Gatsuga, which was one of the best taijutsu moves he learned from his mother so far. Hiba wins as he landed lots of good hits on Mizuki. Skip civilian fights. Naruto vs. Shino. Naruto won after 10 minutes. Shikamaru vs. Ino. Shikamaru won after 5 minutes. Suiren vs. Hinata. Hinata barely won after 20 minutes. Sasuke vs. Choji. Sasuke won after 5 minutes. Skip civilian second round. Naruto vs. Hiba. Naruto won after 10 minutes. Shikamaru vs. Hinata. Hinata won after 10 minutes. Sasuke vs. Civilian cannon fodder. Sasuke won in 3 minutes. Kunoichi finals. Hinata vs. Sakura. Hinata activated her Byakugan and got ready in the basic stance for her new Juken style. Sakura was able to last 10 minutes by dodging until Hinata landed the first blow on her shoulder. Hinata then disabled Sakura's arm, causing Sakura to feel extreme pain but tried to continue. Sakura tried to sweep kick Hinata, who jumped over her leg and hit her on her hip joint, causing her legs to be disabled. Hinata then pulled out a kunai and held it at Sakura's throat until Sakura gave up. Winner. Hinata Hyuga. Shinobi Finals. Naruto Uzumaki vs. Sasuke Uchiha. As they walked to the circle, the fangirls overly cheered for Sasuke while Naruto had some cheers from his group. Hajime. Iruka yelled. Naruto then released all of his weights in order to finish the match quicker, as he wanted to go see Hana and unlock his new summoning scroll. Sasuke threw down 4 smoke bombs and charged forward. Naruto, however, jumped up into the sky and came down with his arm out to nail Sasuke across his shoulder and temporarily disable it, but couldn't, as Sakura screeched for Sasuke to look out, causing Naruto to cover his sensitive ears from her banshee-killing screams. Sasuke then charges forward and attempts to drop-kick Naruto. The kick nails Naruto in his gut but only pushes him back a bit, as Sasuke doesn't have close to the same amount of muscle mass as Naruto does. Naruto grabs Sasuke's leg and throws him high into the air. Naruto jumps up and punches Sasuke in the gut, causing him to spit up a little bit of blood. Naruto then pushes Sasuke down before him and lands on top of him, making a Sasuke-shaped crater. All the fangirls were shrieking as Naruto slowly stood above a knocked-out Sasuke. Naruto then fell to the ground from the shrieking as Iruka named him the winner. -15 minutes later, Naruto woke back up with Ino cradling his head in the classroom. Iruka, noticing Naruto now being awake, decides to move on to the jutsu portion of the test. Okay class, now I need you all to come into the back room one at a time, alphabetically, and perform henge, kawarimi, and abunshin. Okay Shino, you are first. For the next hour the class slowly went through and got the jutsu down. The only ones left are Naruto, and Ino, as Suiren is currently in the back room. Naruto then enters the room as Suiren left. Naruto threw a smoke bomb and walked in with a henge on, looking like Itachi Uchiha. Mizuki fell for it while Iruka was impressed. Itachi-san, what are you doing here? Mizuki questioned, worried that he is coming to arrest him for being a soon-to-be traitor. Iruka couldn't help but chuckle at his company teacher's stupidity. It's me, Naruto. Naruto said as he dispelled the jutsu. Amazing, Naruto. Now do a kawarimi please. Iruka ordered. Sure thing, Iruka-sensei. Naruto said as he switched places with Mizuki as he was leaning back, causing the idiot teacher to fall backwards and then be splayed across his chair as Naruto switched back. Naruto then made a cross and preformed the cage bunshin and then had each clone make a normal bunshin. Congrats Naruto, you pass, Iruka said, proud for his little brother figure. How about I take you and your friends to the Akamichi barbecue restaurant that also now serves special ramen? Iruka asked. Sure thing, just after I activate Gigi's seal. Naruto said while Iruka knew what he was talking about. What seal, Naruto? Mizuki asked while thinking. What is this damn demon talking about? It already sucks that I can't frame me stealing the forbidden scroll on him. Mizuki thought, not knowing that his thoughts were being projected, and Kakashi and Itachi put chakra suppression seals on him and took him to Ibiki. Well, at least that fool is taken care of. Naruto sighed. Yeah, now let's go see the rest of the class, and here is your headband. Iruka said, giving Naruto a leaf headband with red cloth that had black Uzumaki swirls, blue Senju tridents, and purple Namikaze waves at the end. There were also some kitsune on the side of the medal. Sweet. Thanks, Iruka-ni, Naruto exclaimed. Naruto and Iruka walked out and everyone stared at Naruto's headband, thinking how unique it was, and the fangirls thought it was lame. Okay class, you have 1 week off until you need to come back and meet your Jonin sensei. I will also announce shinobi and kunoichi of the year then also. Iruka said. Half an hour later, everyone was at the Akamichi barbecue restaurant with Iruka and Shizune. Choji, Naruto, and Kiba were having an eating competition, which Naruto and Choji tied and Kiba lost. Then Ino and Hinata convinced Naruto and Kiba to have a sniff-off for different types of food as a joke, which Kiba won by 1 point. Then Hana showed up with the Heimaru triplets, who tackled Naruto, licking him like crazy, while Ino and Hana laughed at the actions. Hana, Ino, and Hinata then convinced the DJ to play a song that they can dance to. Hinata grabbed Kiba and Naruto made a clone for Ino as he danced with Hana. Shino, Shikamaru, and Choji sat to the side talking to 3 girls from their clans. Shino was talking to a girl from his clan who was his age but wanted to help raise the Kikaichu bugs, so she only had basic ninja skills. Her name is Aki Aburame. Choji was talking to a Nara girl who helps with the Nara bookstore named Natsu Nara. Shikamaru was talking to an Akamichi girl who was the skinniest Akamichi girl and one of their best chefs. Her name is Suki Akamichi. -1 week later, Naruto and the gang were waiting for class to start and were talking about what teams they hoped to be on. Iruka walked in with the rest of the class and got everyone ready to tell the teams. Okay, before I announce the teams, I will announce the shinobi and kunoichi of the year. The shinobi of the year is Naruto Uzumaki and the kunoichi of the year is Hinata Hyuga. After Iruka announced that there were shouts of denial from the fan clubs of Sasuke Uchiha. Iruka couldn't talk until all the shouts died down. Okay, now on to teams. Team 1 is, Team 7 is Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Sai, your Jonin sensei, is Kakashi Hatake. Team 8 is Shino Aburame, Kiba Inuzuka, and Yakumo under Kurenai Yuhi. Team 9 is still in rotation from last year. Team 10 is Suiran Uchiha, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akamichi under Asuma Sarutobi. Before Iruka could continue, he was cut off by 3 people. Iruka sensei, who is this Sai Baka that is on mine and Sasuke-kun's team. He will probably just slow Sasuke-kun down and thus slow me down also. The pink hair banshee yelled. Why isn't Hinata-chan on mine and Shino's team? Kiba exclaimed in shock and sadness. Iruka sensei, why am I not on a team? Ino asked, worried that something happened and she wasn't going to be on a team. Naruto just smiled at his 2 friends' reactions, and couldn't care less about Sakura. Well, Sakura, Sai is a boy your age that is from the Anbu division called Root and is going to be on your team to readjust to normal lives and gain back his emotions. He will show up with your sensei. Kiba, Hinata is actually being apprenticed by Shizune-chan to be a medic and will actually still train with Team 8 for taijutsu, normal ninjutsu, genjutsu and other things. But Shizune-chan will help teach her more in-depth things in medical ninjutsu. Ino, you are also apprenticed, under Tsunade-sama along with Hana Inuzuka, as you two have some of the best potential talent for medical ninjutsu that can leave, as Hinata is the Hyuga heiress and she doesn't want to leave the village as often as you two. Naruto, you already know who your teacher is, so why are you here? So I can take Ino-chan to the clearing so we can meet Tsunade-ba-chan and Jiraiya Jiji. Shizune-chan said she would be here when Kurenai-chan gets here. Also Kiba and Shino, I need you to promise me that you will protect Kurenai-chan and Yakumo-chan. Sure thing, Naruto-ni. Hiba said to his best friend and older brother figure while Shino nodded his affirmative and Iruka nodded at the answer to his question. Well, got to go, Naruto exclaimed as he picked up Ino bridal style and used a sweetened Fuden Shunshin. It had streaks of water and wind going through it and he only knows that because of the 2 summoning contracts. -1 second later, Naruto appeared holding Ino bridal style in the clearing. Naruto and Ino were met there by Hana Inuzuka who had the Heimaru triplets who gave Naruto a tongue bath and then licked Ino as a welcome. Hey Hana-chan, Naruto said as he got up and kissed Hana's cheek. Hey Naru-kun, Hana said as she kissed Naruto back but on the lips. Hey, while we wait for Ba-chan and Gigi, why don't I try to unlock my next summoning scroll? Naruto offered. Sure Naruto-kun, but while you go through the boring Fuinjutsu stuff, Hana and I will play with the Kitsune and the triplets. Yeah, just call us over when you unlock it. Oh yeah, there are also 3 new Kitsune, all 3 are vixens who I named Kaiuraki, Tayoko, and Daya. Kaiuraki and Tsutomu get along really well while Tayoko and Reiza get along really well also. And as you can guess, Daya seems to like Kometo. Hana said while walking over to where her nin-kin were playing with the Kitsune. Ino followed her as they soon started talking about who knows what. Naruto, on the other hand, was concentrating like crazy on the specific seal design needed to unlock the next scroll. After 10 minutes Naruto finally got it and quickly signed his name while Book and Supai, who were already there from when they fed the Kitsune, summoned their bosses, Gamabunta and Mario Shinjin, to watch the new summoning. Kuchio's no jutsu, Naruto exclaimed. Ra, who the hell summoned me? Bellowed the giant beast through the smoke. When the smoke cleared, Naruto saw a huge midnight black badger with a bright white strip down the middle and a scare on its jaw. I did, Badger-sama, Naruto said calmly. So the Uzumaki do truly live. Haha, what great news. Young Uzumaki, just call me Dayton. Bellowed the now named Dayton. 2 things for me to tell you. Since you summoned me, you will get some changes from my clan, and the Gamma and Walrus clans to signify you as our summoner. Second, use a little bit of chakra to find your familiar. Dayton said in a regal tone. Okay Dayton-sama, oh, and just call me Naruto, Kuchio's no jutsu. Naruto exclaimed, summoning a medium-sized badger with russet brown fur and a forest green stripe down the middle with 4 horizontal silver stripes intersecting the green stripe. Dayton-sama, was it you who summoned me here? Asked the young badger. No, it was young Naruto-kun who summoned you. You and he are now partners, Hako. Came the regal reply from Dayton. Sure thing Dayton-sama. Hello, Naruto, said Hako. Hello Hako. So what are your specialties? Naruto asked. My specialties are Doden Jutsu and close combat utilizing my claws and fangs. Hako replied. Awesome. So we have a close combat and Doden user, a Kenjutsu and Suiten user who can work long range with Suiten Jutsu, a healer and Suiten user, and a long range to close range Suiten and Raiden user who can dive deep. Both the healer and the deep diver also have a touch of Kaden to help take care of others and staying safe. Now on to the changes, bellowed all 3 of the bosses. And don't worry, your other summons will be able to apply changes too. Okay. Naruto said before the changes started. Hana and Ino watched the whole thing and were about to run to Naruto's side when his familiars stopped them, saying this has to happen. From the badger summons, Naruto's nails grew into small claws that he could extend up to 8 inches at will. He also gained night vision from the badgers. From the Gamma summons, Naruto gained the ability to breathe through his skin when needed and his feet became slightly webbed, but not too much. It was barely noticeable unless you went out of your way to look. And lastly, from the Seiuchi summons, Naruto's canines grew into small tusks, elongated canines that didn't get in the way of anything, and his lungs grew to hold 5 times the capacity that it could currently hold. Naruto also gained markings on his cheeks like Jiraiya, but they curved and made some swirls, vertical stripes on his back, and Inuzuka-like markings on his lower arms. The bosses and familiars soon went back to their summon realms. Hana and Ino were speechless at Naruto's transformation, but in a good way. The slightly webbed feet would take some getting used to, but they thought Naruto looked more feral, and in their opinions slightly hotter. Hey Gaki, are you, and, what the hell happened? Exclaimed Jiraiya as he looked at his grandson. Well Gigi, I have been welcomed in as a full summoner for all my contracts and they decided to show it too. And it is also a custom in Uzushio that when you signed one of the Uzumaki contracts your body would be slightly modified to suit the special demands that you would need to meet. Naruto said, well, damn, then I guess it's fine then, it does make you look more feral. And good thing your clothes had growing seals and repairing seals on them to keep up with your changes. Jiraiya said. Naruto then tried concentrating on shrinking his nails and fangs tusks, and slightly decreasing all the changes for now, until he has time to get used to them. Surprisingly the changes did become less obvious, except for the cheek markings and his lung capacity. Phew, what a relief, I look slightly normal now. Naruto sighed as the girls giggled at his action. So are you all ready to go meet Tsunade Hime at Training Ground 44 for a team meeting thing before we leave to go train? Yeah Gigi, Jiraiya-sama, the group said as Jiraiya teleported them all to Training Ground 44, where Anko was talking to Tsunade for permission to join them on their training journey as she doesn't have anyone to spend time with as Kurenai and Yugao are both very busy. Yeah Anko-chan, you can join us. You can help train the runts since you are a Tokubetsu Jonin. Thank you Tsunade-sama. Hem. Tsunade Hime, are you all ready to go through the introduction process and leave? Nah, we can skip the introductions as we all know each other. Let's just get going to Mitsu no Kuni and then Kuma no Kuni so we can train. Tsunade said, sure thing, but don't forget we are also taking some missions from those countries as we train. And a lot of missions for Hoshigakure in Kuma no Kuni, so they let us use their special meteor to help with your chakra reserves. Jiraiya stated. Wait. First let's test Hana-chan's affinity. Naruto said. He then took out a piece of chakra paper and handed it to Hana. Hana channeled her chakra through the paper and the group was amazed at what they saw. Hana had an affinity for fire with a smaller secondary affinity towards wind. -2 hours later. Naruto, Anko, Ino, and Hana were following Jiraiya and Tsunade on their way to Mitsu where they will learn how to make special ointments from the special honey found there, along with training to become tough shinobi. Naruto made 2 shadow clones, one to carry Ino and another to carry Anko as he picked up Hana. She didn't have the 3 Heimaru brothers with her as they stayed in the clearing with the Kitsune and would help train Akamaru. Naruto accepted the fact that he would be put into the CRA due to him being the last male Uzumaki, and he wouldn't let his mother be used to make a male heir that would become anyone's pawn as the elders still have some untraceable control and Danzo disappeared 2 weeks after he was arrested. Naruto has also decided on the first 3, them being Hana, Ino, and Anko. Then when they get back to Konoha he would have to get Kurenai to become one of his girlfriends if she wants to. They made it to a small town called Meiji-ishin Maki where Jiraiya purchased an entire apartment complex for the Namikaze clan, although he didn't say Namikaze. They took 2 rooms, both being top-floor suites where Naruto and his new girlfriends can live whenever they are in this town. Naruto also set up the village as a little place that supports the Uzumaki clan, as in a big underground base and future trading center and mission supplier, which will give them a foothold into the elementals. A week later, the group of 6 ninjas made it to the capital of Mitsu no Kuni where they met the leader Lady Ko, who had a feast in their honor, and seeing her old friend Tsunade Senju. The feast consisted of honey-glazed ham, sweet iced tea, biscuits, and a dessert of honeycomb. Naruto loved the taste of honey so he asked if he could have some more, which he received. But the girls were smarter and bought a few jars of honey for later. Naruto learned the Rasengan with the help of Kage Bunshin under Jiraiya's tutelage, however he still needs to learn to do it with one hand and complete it like Minato wanted. The girls learned how to make chakra scalpels and how to channel chakra into their muscles and acquire Tsunade's super strength. Although everyone needed loads of practice. Naruto and Ino both performed D-rank missions for Lady Ko and easily surpassed the necessary amount needed before doing C-rank missions. Soon enough Naruto, Ino, and Hana were taking out the bandit camps around the capital and surrounding towns. Then when they got rested after their 10th bandit camp mission, Anko helped the younger ninjas improve their speed and reflexes by bombarding them with senbon, kunai, shuriken, and using smoke grenades to make it harder for them to find the weapons. Needless to say, they got very cut up and were very sore, until Tsunade applied a special lotion to their wounds that actually contained the special healing honey from Mitsu no Kuni. After another week and a half they set out to Kuma no Kuni, where Jiraiya knows the current Hoshikage, Akahoshi, who is a kind man that wants nothing better than to help his country. Kuma no Kuni has multiple factions, with Hoshigakure no Sato being the capital of the biggest one. The shinobi from Hoshi all had large reserves due to their meteorite, which has odd chakra abilities. When Naruto and group arrived, they had to fight through some small factions who hated Konoha shinobi and all shinobi from the major villages. Naruto and Ino's first kills didn't affect them until once they reached Hoshi, due to the fact that they killed from afar and didn't see the life leave their eyes. However, in Kuma no Kuni they saw the life leave their enemies' eyes up close. Naruto and Ino hurled, and when they got to Hoshi they collapsed and cried from killing someone and seeing the life leave the person up close. Hana and Anko spent 4 days to get them back to normal. Even the offer of ramen and red bean paste didn't help greatly. Jiraiya helped the elite Hoshi ninja beat other factions down and even helped them gain control of a majority of Kuma no Kuni. That took a week for Jiraiya to do. While that was going on though, Tsunade took Anko, Hana, Naruto, and Ino to the meteorite and told them to meditate for 2 hours. After the 2 hours they then practiced chakra control for the rest of the day, eating Kaseki Kenko seeds to regain their energy in a better way than the soldier pills. After a week their chakra reserves skyrocketed to above Chunin and almost Jonin. For Ino, she practiced the most. Anko was slowly reaching cage level reserves, Hana was near medium to high Jonin level reserves, and Naruto's above cage reserves grew even more. Tsunade also had Anko and Naruto teach the cage bunshin to Ino and Hana. After 2 days both Hana and Ino learned the jutsu, and the group would make as many cage bunshin as they could, 3 for Anko, 2 for Hana and 2 for Ino if she uses a Kaseki Kenko seed to help increase their reserves by even more. -2 weeks later, Tsunade and Jiraiya taught the younger 3 ninja on how to do elemental manipulations, just on the basic, like leaf cutting for wind, leaf burning for fire, making a mini whirlpool for Sweden, and rock forming from pebbles for earth, and Anko helped give pointers on taijutsu. Cage bunshin were used to practice jutsu, chakra control, and chakra manipulation every day, while the originals practiced taijutsu and Naruto began learning Uzumaki clan-style kenjutsu. Jiraiya also took 1 clone form all 3 of the younger kunoichi and 10 from Naruto to help teach them more fuinjutsu. Kuma no Kuni also made a secret pact to the Uzumaki clan and also made an alliance with Konoha, which allowed for their beginner, academy level, shinobi to go to Konoha and learn what to do properly. -1 week later. Where are we going, Gigi, Ba-chan? Naruto whined as he wasn't told where the group was heading. Anko, Ino, and Hana knew that they were going to Takumi no Sato, which was a city-state between Kase no Kuni, Aim no Kuni, and Ishi no Kuni. Quiet, Gaki. You will find out where we are going when we get there, but first we got to go through the summon realms to get past Aim no Kuni. Jiraiya said. Why? Asked the younger shinobi. Cause they have closed their borders and someone in there was strong enough to beat Hanzo of the Salamander and all his lackeys. Jiraiya said, a little annoyed. Oh, said the Uzumaki heir. -3 hours later. Oi, now where are we? Naruto asked. We are in Takumi no Sato, otherwise known as the Craftsman Village. They are some of the best weapons makers ever. They are only second to Tetsu no Kuni. Tsunade told her knucklehead grandson. Whoa, so am I getting a sword here? Also I am going to have to buy loads more kunai, shuriken, and senbon. Naruto said, you are getting a normal sword courtesy of us so you can learn your mother's kenjutsu style, which Tsunade Haim has a copy of. You will have to buy your own kunai, shuriken, and senbon though. Jiraiya said, and we will also be getting you girls swords also, Tsunade told Ino and Hana. Anko already denied using swords as they aren't her style. Jiraiya and Tsunade walked off to the stores while Anko went to get the rooms at a hotel, leaving Naruto, Ino, and Hana to explore by themselves. "Hey, get out of here, you freaks. You're abominations. Get out of here, you monsters. We will kill you." The group heard screams coming from town square. They ran to the scene with Naruto in front, leaking killing intent. When the group got there, they saw a girl around their age and a boy about half their age getting pelted with trash and small rocks. "Stop. Kuchio's no jutsu," Naruto yelled as some of Kyuubi's chakra was leaking out due to his anger. Book, Kango, Tsupai, and Hako popped into the human world and saw what was going on and grew angry like their summoner brother. Book jumped in front of the kids and cut the trash, stopping it. Hako cut the pebbles to pieces, more like dirt particles. Kango went to the kids and started to heal them as Tsupai provided water for her to use. Tsupai then made a water whip and struck away anything that Book and Hako missed, along with hitting some of the offenders. The offenders were utterly scared but were not going to show it to some Konoha ninja. "What the hell are you doing, Konoha ninja-san? This is village matters, you have no right to interfere," shouted the leader of the gang, who was tall like Jiraiya and built like the Raikage. "The hell I don't," growled a feral Naruto as he let his changes show and shot out a ball of pure wind at them leader. The leader got the wind knocked out of him and was sent flying a few feet away. "That kind of hurt, you little shit. Let me return the favor," the leader yelled as he went through some hand signs. "Doden. Doryuso," shouted the leader as earth spikes rose up to skewer Naruto. Naruto, however, swatted at each that rose with his claws as he charged at the leader. "Hari Jigoku," Naruto yelled as needles shot from his hair and covered the man's arms and legs. "Isn't that one of Jiraiya-sama's techniques?" Ino asked Hana. "Yeah, it is. Wonder when he learned that," Hana said. Ino and Hana then flared their chakra 3 times, alerting Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Anko to trouble. Then the 2 girls ran over and helped Kango carry the other kids to safety and then heal their wounds. Anko soon arrived and saw what was going on and recognized the leader that Naruto was fighting. "Naruto-kun, stop fighting. We aren't here for you to fight. Besides, that is a nuke nin from Iwa named Taishin Chitin, also called Gorira no Maguma. He is one of the best Doden and Kaden users around. I don't care. He hurt innocent people for being different," Naruto growled out as he charged Taishin with a spear that Taishin made. What Naruto didn't know was that Anko, Ino, and Hana all cast a genjutsu on Taishin, making him think he won. Too bad he wasn't a genjutsu user. Naruto ran him through with the spear, which was infused with Kyuubi's chakra. What the hell? How did you get me? I thought I killed you. Why y'all little shit, Taishin muttered as his life left him. Anko then walked up and cut his head off and sealed it away so Naruto could get the bounty later. Just then Jiraiya and Tsunade appeared. Jiraiya immediately lunged at Naruto and placed a special seal that suppresses all chakra in a person's body and knocks them out. Naruto fell limp in his grandfather's arms and the spear fell to the ground with a metallic stony thud. The spear changed from earth to an iron titanium mix with lines of garnet and sapphire twirling around it. The most surprising parts though were the fox head on top and that it was hollow and could be used to store anything. Jiraiya sealed it away for later, even though it was really hard to lift. What was going on here? Tsunade demanded. The B-boy S saved me and my BR brother F from being attacked by that G gang. Please don't hurt us, the girl said as she was utterly terrified. Don't worry girl, these people won't hurt you. They are with Naruto-kun here and they will understand when you tell them what has happened. Ino-chan, Hana-chan, and Anko-chan, you all also tell Jiraiya-sama and Tsunade-sama what happened, Kango said as the other summons were corralling the gang that attacked the kids. Oh okay, the girl went on to tell what happened and what has been happening to her and her brother. When she was done, the 3 kunoichi soon told what happened from their views. Really now, no wonder Naruto-kun was so pissed off. It reminds him of what happened to him on occasions when we couldn't get to him fast enough or when he disappeared at times. Jiraiya said with a downcast look. Anko summoned some snakes and used them to wrap up the gang and apologized to her summons for this, but the snakes blew it off. So what are your names again? Tsunade asked. I am Sango and this is my little brother Kyuzo, said the girl. We are also the last of our clan and we have the ability to absorb chakra and we can also absorb materials like metal or wood or crystal and it essentially makes a layer of our skin into the material we absorb. Then we can manipulate it any way we want and it won't leave us until we want it to, informed Sango. Naruto's experience while the girls and Jiraiya were talking. Where am I? Where are Hana-chan, Ino-chan, and Anko-chan? Where's Gigi and Ba-chan? Did I lose and they leave me? No, that's stupid, they are my loved ones and they wouldn't leave me, so what is going on? Naruto wondered aloud. Then Naruto heard the sound of crying and followed it, along the big mausoleum-like walls. At least it's not a sewer. Naruto sighed as he turned a corner and found the source of the crying. Why the fuck did they do this, Kyuubi-chan? Asked a sad-grown blonde. I don't know, Minato-kun, but Naruto-kun has finally arrived, said an equally sad voice from inside a cage. And Naruto-kun, said Minato as he stood up. Naruto, however, was speechless as he saw his father. Chu-san, Naruto gasped, and ran to his father and hugged him tightly. Where are we? We are in your mindscape, Naruto. And can you please change the scenery in here? Just think and it will happen, Minato said and requested as Naruto adopted a thinking pose. Soon enough the cage disappeared and fruit trees containing oranges, lemons, limes, apples and anything else appeared with cypress trees and white pine trees. Then a small 2-story house appeared in the center of the area with a lake near it and rivers running through the area also. Then Naruto saw the person his dad was talking to. So you're Kyuubi? Naruto asked nervously. Hi Naruto-kun, and I was also supposed to be like a guardian angel but that plan got ruined. And I am so very sorry for what happened, Kyuubi said as she hugged Naruto tightly. It's okay, but what is your real name, Kyuubi-chan? Naruto asked when he was freed from the hug. It is Yuka, queen of the Kitsune, and the Uzumaki clan guardian, Yuka said proudly. Then the trio discusses random tidbits for a little while. Well, Yuka-chan, is there a way to get you out of here, without killing me? Yes, but you need to take my chakra, which can't happen until you get stronger. Also you will need to sign the Kitsune contract and summon either my mate or one of my 2 kits, once you find it at a lost Namikaze base. The Kitsune contract was given to the Namikaze nomads from the Uzumaki sealers as a sign of peace, Yuka explained while Minato nodded and formed a map of all the Namikaze bases he knows of and gave it to Naruto. Thanks to San and Yuka-chan, Naruto said as he thought of a huge bookcase. The bookcase made the house look pathetic in size and the shelves already had many scrolls on there from all that Naruto has learned. The shelves were divided into jutsu, nin and gen, physical jutsu, tai and ken, kinjutsu, places, people, weapons, and then a category for other information. Naruto then places the map in places but he soon slowly starts to fade. What's going on? Naruto questioned worriedly. You are just waking up, Naruto-kun, Minato said calmly as he hugged his son goodbye and discreetly put all his knowledge on the bookshelves for later. In the real world, Yana, man, I am so stiff. Where am I? Naruto wondered aloud. Oi, you're finally up, Gaki, Anko said as Naruto slowly sat up from her lap. What happened? You went, feral, Anko said. Oh, I used Yuka-chan's chakra. I meant what knocked me out, Naruto said as Anko looked confused. Who's this? Yuka-chan, you speak of. And Jiraiya-sama knocked you out, Anko said and asked. Oh, okay. And Yuka-chan is the real name of Kyuubi, and she is really nice. My 2-san was there also. Where were you? In my mindscape. So you have reached that level already, Naruto-kun? Jiraiya asked from the door with everyone else behind him. I guess so, Gigi, haha, Naruto said. Half a week later, Naruto got down the basics to the Uzumaki Kenjutsu style and even started making his own style for his staff, which is actually very light for him. Naruto even got Ino to sign the slug contract that Tsunade has in his Seiuchi contract. Ino didn't get a familiar from either, but she is allowed to summon any of the summons, and both provide many Suiden and Doten users for her to pair up with to make her attacks stronger and helped her in her healing and fighting. Naruto even got Hana to sign a contract, the Badger contract, which made her a little more feral looking with longer nails and sharper teeth, but they also provided a good way to help her with healing. The Badgers also promised to let her sign the Wolf contract if she finds it. The group, with Sango and Kyuzo, were on their way to Suna to help train in wind manipulation and earth manipulation. Sango wasn't going to be a ninja but decided to train under Tsunade to learn how to heal along with being an expert craftswoman. Kyuzo decided he wanted to be a ninja, so the whole group helped to train him on the basics along with being a novice craftsman. Once the group reached Suna, they were greeted by the Kazekage and his 3 children, one of whom Jiraiya already knows because he helped fix his seal. "Gaara-kun, how ya doing, you little squirt?" Jiraiya said like the big goofball he is. "I'm doing good, Jiraiya-sama," Gaara said in a calm voice. "So Jiraiya-san, the blonde one is your apprentice?" asked the Yondiame Kazekage. "Yeah, he is, and the Inuzuka and Yamanaka are Tsunade Heims students," Jiraiya told the man. The two start talking and soon all the younger people are gone and they still don't notice. With Naruto and the others. "So, I am Naruto Uzumaki, this is Ino Yamanaka, Hana Inuzuka, and Anko Mitarashi. Then these two are Sango and Kyuzo," Naruto said smiling. "I am Gaara no Sabaku and these are my siblings Temari and Kankuro. Nice to meet you. I am also the container of the Kyuubi. What about you, Gaara?" "Ikibi or Shukaku." "Awesome. So does yours give you any cool powers?" "I get amazing stealth and stamina. I am also going to get some kind of kitsune tricks when I am older." "Yeah, I get control of the sand." Gaara then makes sand puppets that dance around before they collapse back into the ground. Cool. -3 hours later, Naruto was being given a tour by Temari with Hana and Ino while Sango was talking to Gaara and Kyuzo was being taught how to use puppetry by Kankuro, as the craftsman duo decided to stay in Suna and were adopted into the Uzumaki clan officially. "So Temari-chan, how is life here with all this sand?" Naruto asked. "It is rather dull in all honesty. I wish I could live somewhere cooler though, and with lots of water." "Well, we could go to a summon realm for a bit, if it is okay with your 2-san," Naruto said. "Really?" Temari screamed with joy. "Yeah, you know what, let's just go," Naruto said. "Kuchio's no jutsu. Kango-chan, can you take the 4 of us to the Gamma realm?" "Sure thing, Naruto-kun," Kango said as all 5 of them disappeared and went to the Gamma realm. Split second later. "Whoa, where are we? This place is beautiful," Temari asked in astonishment. "This is the Gamma realm, called Mount Myoboku, where the entire Toad Summons race lives. Come on, we are gonna go to the Misty Falls to go swimming." "Kango-chan, are you all at the swimming hole?" Naruto said and asked. "Yeah, Naruto-kun, so let's get going," Kango called out as she sped away towards the falls. Naruto created 2 clones, one for Ino and one for Hana, while he personally carried Temari. All 3 had blushes, but Ino's was less than Temari's and Hana's was less than Ino's. Naruto leapt tree to tree at an alarming rate, even though more than half of his gravity and resistance seals were still active. In a matter of minutes the group of 4 reached the Misty Falls where Kango, Book, Gamakichi, Gamatatsu, and Gamamusha were swimming with a few other toads that the group hasn't met before. Time skipped 3 hours. Where the hell is my daughter? The Kazekage worriedly thought aloud as he paced his office. Relax, Ian-kun. Temari is probably just giving Naruto-kun, Hana-chan, and Ino-chan a tour while Anko is probably practice fighting atop Jonin. Jiraiya said as Tsunade, Sango, and Kyuzo walked in with the other 2 Sand siblings. Surprising everyone there, though, was that Sango was on the arm of Gaara and he was smiling. Suffice to say that Kankuro passed out from shock, Kyuzo was speechless, and the older ninja were shocked by how fast the relationship seemed to happen. "So you and your brother are staying here, Sango-chan?" asked an obviously happy Gaara. "Hi, Gaara-kun, also can we go to the hot springs later? I really want to go somewhere nice and relaxing. Sure thing my Tenshi no Kyushu. Gaara smiled, again, which nearly gave his dad a heart attack. Just then Naruto appeared with a tired Temari on his back, Ino in his arms and Hana with her arm looped around his. What did you do to my daughter? Questioned a furious Ion. I took her swimming at Misty Falls in Mount Myoboku. Naruto said quietly as he laid Ino down on the tan sofa lining the wall before putting Temari down next to her. Why would you take her there without asking me, her too, and Cage? Ion questioned again, still pretty furious. Because she said she wanted to be somewhere new where there wasn't as much sand. I was going to ask you but she got really excited so I just decided to not keep her waiting. Naruto said calmly, okay. But if I find out you did anything to her, you will be dead meat. Whoa, hold on, why the hell would I do anything bad to her? Do you know what my life was like? No, I would never harm an innocent person, a friend, comrade, or a beautiful ally kunoichi. I despise all the people who harm innocents, children, women, and people who are just trying to help others. Naruto exploded. He just couldn't take the thought of someone thinking he would stoop so low. Tsunade quickly sent Naruto to Dreamland, well more like his mindscape, and Naruto spent the rest of the night talking to Yuka and Minato. Sorry about that Ion-kun, but Naruto has had the roughest life out of all the Jinchuriki, even with people there for him. Jiraiya said solemnly. Oh, I am so sorry Jiraiya-sama, said a truly sorry Cage. You should be too, San. I got him to tell me his life story and instead of crying when he talked I cried and he comforted me. Then we played in the water for as long as we could until I passed out along with Ino. Temari explained with a harsh tone towards her father who couldn't help but grimace at how she talked to him. -2 weeks later. By Naru-kun, exclaimed Temari as she hugged the blonde-haired Jinchuriki tightly while both blushed. Soon enough Hana, Ino, and Anko joined in and it was a big group hug. Temari, working up the courage, kissed Naruto on the lips quickly before turning beet red and running back to her family's house. Naruto stood there stunned as he couldn't contemplate her kissing him. Soon enough everyone was teasing him and Hana jokingly said something about Naruto finding vixens throughout the elementals, making him blush even more. Naruto shook Gaara's, Kankuro's, Kyuzo's, and the Cage's hands while giving Sango a small hug goodbye. Everyone else shook hands and soon left to go back to Konoha to get more missions and for Naruto to receive his bounty.